All right, hello everyone, and finally, welcome to the WCA 2016 semifinals best of three between Sig.Trust and Warriors Gaming Unity. This is going to be an exciting series, absolutely here, delayed by about an hour, but hardly that matters now as we are on into the draft. We're starting things off with some powerhouses, but first, I'm going to be your caster Annie, aka Android, and I am being joined by the one and only Mad Kings. What's up, man?
Hello.
How you doing?
Well, it's early in the morning, but apart from that, I'm looking forward to some what's it called? Asian Dota? Is that, can we call it
Yeah, this is
that?
Southeast Asia. Sig.Trust are from Thailand, Warriors Gaming rep in Malaysia, so we've got a good mix here going on into that SEA region. And Sig.Trust, they're starting things out with the Purple Boys. Witch Doctor, Darkseer picked up. Witch Doctor is such a fantastic utility support. Darkseer, one of the most stable offlaners, turns into a great teamfight hero towards the mid game. But Warriors, they've got themselves an Oracle, which is a great pick up against the Darkseer because you can just plop off those ion shells off of whatever may be. And now Beastmaster picked up will be another fantastic utility offlaner that farms up well, joins his team for fights, starting things off with the Primal Roar, so he is usually banned out first phase, but somehow snuck through. Warriors snap him up right away, and now going in to the rest of our bands here, Sig.Trust still need to pick up cores, a mid, perhaps a secondary support as well. What do you think Sig.Trust should look for here to complement their lineup so far?
I feel like they already like pretty much like open showing their hands fully open. You can see with the Witch Doctor Daxi, they should be going for like a heavy team fight composition. That is usually the only way that Daxi really thrives. So Warriors Gaming, they should probably be well aware of what they would expect. Trust probably gonna go for something maybe like the Phoenix that has come into flavor in a support position for the team fight. Mid heroes, there's heroes like the Puck available who can also do the team fight gaming. If you are looking for something to combo with a Darkseer, you can go for pretty much any melee hero like a Juggernaut, for example, or Sven with the Stormhammer follow up, and yeah, they will pick up the Jug. So
Nice call on that. Yeah, it's going to be a nice early fighting lineup for Sig.Trust. So, can Warriors look to bring this into the ultra late game? Could they pick up a core like an AM or a Spectre? Alchemist is banned out, but they could go for something like a Sven or a Gyro that could really scale nicely into the late game and can outcarry the Juggernaut post 40 minutes.
they have a decent amount of opportunities. As you said yourself, the Oracle is one hero that already counters the Darks in the lane by taking away pretty much every second Iron Shell that he throws out. Will limit his farm very much, so you can actually get away with doing a dual lane against the Darkseer without him getting too much farm. So the Beastmaster could easily be like a jungler, and then you maybe get like a mid game carry, a lifesteal, for example, something like an Ursa, which is good against the Juggernaut. Slark is very popular right now as well. So Warriors Gaming, I feel like they have a lot of options, as well as the Beastmaster already being a pretty good pick against the Jug, since the spin doesn't really do anything if you can roar him. You still have that option, so you already have ways to deal with the Juggernaut.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they go for here. Warriors, again, they still need a mid laner. They pick up the Puck, and I like that pick a lot. I think it discourages a lot of the harassy heroes that could come out for a signature. Again, DK is one of their frequent pickups as their mid laner, and, a Puck against a DK really favors the Puck because of that phase shift, because of the dodge into the illusory orb. Puck is very hard to get a hold of, and with DK having such high mana cost spells, he can't afford to spray those out just to go ahead and break the phase shift. So Puck will be a nice slippery mid laner here and can transition well into the team fight. So Sig.Trust opt to pick up the DK into the Puck. What do you think about that decision?
It actually makes pretty good sense. Like you said yourself, the laning stage does very much favor the Puck. But the thing is, once you get past the laning stage where DK doesn't really tend to have the most amazing matchups anyways, you have the instant stun from the DK, which is a very good tool against the Puck. If you get like a blink dagger, which is very common, you can blink and instantly stun up the Puck, which is one of the most useful ways to actually be able to deal with the Puck if you have instant stuns. The three heroes they have so far has no way of actually stopping a Puck. So DK is a good option in the mid lane to do that. Gives them some kind of viability. The Puck is a great hero. Like I said, it's a hero that can do a lot of work early on, as well as if you go to the late game, you can get something like an axe, so you still have ways to deal with a DK with BKB, with a jug with his spin, or BKB or whatnot they will bring up.
Yeah, and there's the Lifestealer pickup comboing with the Puck. That's going to be, or Puck is basically going to be Lifestealer's taxi cab, carrying him all around the map. Once Puck goes for the Blink Dagger, he'll have so much mobility in the form of the Jaunt to the Illusory Orb, and he can bring Lifestealer dead into the center of a fight. And Lifestealer, aside from the DK, should be able to munch onto everyone from Sig.Trust, so we'll have to see how much use he gets out of that. Of course, if the Dragonite scales very well, has a successful mid, then Lifestealer could be shut down just a little bit. So going into last bans here, Warriors, they still need to pick up a secondary support. So they could go for something Baby City, they could go for something roaming if they'd like to. Mirana is still in the pool. She usually builds into a semi-carry now, but she could be built as that position 4. And now Sig.Trust, they need a secondary support for themselves as well. We'll see if they want to go for something utility like Avenge. They're going to have the Night Stalker banned out against them. That's a hero that Sig.Trust do like to run, so having it banned out means there's going to be no roamy, ganky man of the night walking around the map, and gives Warriors a little bit more safety to farm.
Yeah, it's very common to have the roaming or like jungle slash roaming support in the position 4. And as you said, they could easily pick that up on Sig.Trust. They don't really have anything to worry about in the offlane in the start. Whether it's going to be the Beastmaster or if Warriors Gaming is going to pick another offlane up is kind of, they have options. Kind of comes down to what they feel like, I think, because I don't think there's any offlane that can pick up which lanes very well against the Juggernaut, so it's a bit more whether or not they want to have a Beastmaster farm, get early level 6 in the jungle, and like have him rotate and try and make space on the other lanes. It looks like they will go for the offlane, so picking up something else.
Yeah, I really like the AA pick here. I think that's going to be pretty nice. Up against the DK, one of those heroes that's kind of hard to crack, but once you start to get through that shell, he does melt quite easily, so the AA pick, if he can land some crazy Ice Blast, will be fantastic here. And as well, he does have that Chilling Touch, which will help Lifestealer smack a little bit harder before he gets that early damage up, so Lifestealer can be a viable fighter even before he gets items. And now Ancient Apparition also does have that Cold Feet, which, Warriors Gaming are missing out on a lot of those reliable stuns. They're relying on Dream Coil to latch, they're relying on Beastmaster to land the shout correctly. Oracle has that Purge to hold everyone in place. They're the Fortune's End, but again, not really the best tool to hold people in place. But if you get a really nice Cold Feet proc, that could be exactly what Warriors need to start the initiation. So I like the AA pick here. It's going to be flimsy, and going up against a Ricky, oh man, we've got another support Ricky on the field. I've seen this run once before, and I do like it. It's kind of a substitute bounty hunter that does transition into a semi-carry late. So Sig are looking to take this post 30 minutes. They're not going for an early game stomp, and we'll see how they're going to fare up against Warriors.
Yeah, I actually like the Ricky. It's one of the heroes that has come, at least in the pub scene, has become very, very popular. As you said, as a replacement for Bounty Hunter when Bounty Hunter is no longer available. It does pretty much the same kind of work early on, and a good reason to pick it up here is that you have two very, very squishy supports on the side of Warriors. You have the Oracle and AA. So if he does get that one damage item, he will be able to solo them very, very easily. You have the puck, so the silence will be great for many uses against the puck. Like with the DK instant stun, it's another way to try and deal with puck, to try and limit what the puck can do. So it feels like a good little Roma to come out with.
Alright, so as we hop on into the game, it looks like everyone's loading in just fine, so hopefully all the connectivity issues that we experienced early on are in the distant past, and WCA has sorted that all out as we get down to some good Dota here, so we can go ahead and start to introduce the teams. If we look at the Radiant, we've got Sig.Trust. It's going to be Jabs going in on that support Ricky, starting out with the Orb of Venom looking to go ultra aggro. Over here in the offlane, we have got Abba on the Darkseer, heading towards the mid. It looks like we will have Fei Mao on the Darkseer, or rather on the DK. Over here in the safe lane, we are going to have Juggernaut being played up by Lakels, and finally supporting him will be Boombell on the Witch Doctor. How's Unity looking?
Alright, on the dire side, Unity, as you said, we have Wen on the offlane. He is playing the Beastmaster in the mid lane. We have Nana playing the puck. We have Afu. Is that yeah? I guess that's it. On the Oracle, we have Saki playing the AA, and we have Ajit on the Lifesteal. I'm not sure if I'm saying these names correctly, but I hope.
Well, it's our best try here. I do know that the Juggernaut player, I believe, yeah, Lakel's is a awesome star from Dota 1. So this guy has been at it a good long time. He's very familiar with the carry role. He knows the hero. He knows the game. I'm excited to see what kind of knowledge he brings. And now, okay, we are going to have a deep rotation in from Jabs. Let's see what kind of vision is picked up. Oracle does not have any sentries. Puck does have sentries for the mid lane. That's going to be pretty nice, having that extra vision, making sure that Ricky doesn't gank. And Ricky will be able to scout out the motion of the Oracle, knows that he might get sandwiched here between Puck coming on through.
Yeah, they preemptively put down that sentry wall, so they know Ricky's going to come and they want to try and do something about it.
Now, as we go, wait for the horn here. Ricky's sitting here. We'll look to snipe the rune, or perhaps just give Lifestealer a little bit of contest, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get this. They put down the sentry. They reveal the Ricky. Oh, this will be first blood, as there's nothing that Jabs can do. He just goes right on down, and it will be Puck snapping up the rune for the mid. Down bottom, DK does grab it up for himself, so it will be a 1-1 rune trade, but losing the Ricky already stops Unity off, or starts Unity off, rather, with a little bit of extra gold. The kill did go the way of the Lifestealer, so that's going to feel really, really nice on him. He has already 500 more gold on top of his starting regen to go through.
Yeah, that was a nice little kill. He tried to put down the sentry and then tank away the sentry rod that doesn't break the invisibility. So it was a nice little attempt, but sadly he was just out of range to actually take the sentry ward away.
Oh, and now up top, we are going to have a feast here onto the Darkseer, rather. A little bit of lag spikes coming through, but I don't think it's going to be enough to save Abba's life. A couple more hits should do it. He's trying to run away, but will end up going down as Lifestealer picks up his second kill of the game. We are 50 seconds in, and Lifestealer is 2-0, and now down bottom Wen taking a bunch of harass here from Boombell. Boombell will be able to go back, get out safely here, as Wen does not have those wild axes leveled up, and this should be some nice harass coming out from the Witch Doctor.
That's actually a nice little move by A in the top, and as we say that
top.
A.
Yeah, he will be going down here most likely, as Ricky's going to get blocked back in. I'm having a little bit of lag spike, so we're going to see some of the PowerPoint Dota coming out, but looks like Saki will be able to get back safely, has 5 tangos, so able to get that regen rolling for himself.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's actually like the Darkseer dying is probably because it's very surprising to have an A level up cold feet level 1. Usually you see the chilling touch, so I don't think he actually like expected the combo coming up with a Fortune Send into a chilling touch and then getting stunned up by that. A nice little way to catch him by surprise, I suppose.
Oh, down bottom there is going to be a cask bouncing out. Juggernaut is looking to dive a little bit deep here. They may have to back off as Witch Doctor does not have enough mana for that Maledict, and they will be able to get down the Beastmaster. He does eventually show on the death ticker, and that's going to be 200 gold going the way of the Jug, grabbing himself back into the game. But up top, looks like Ajit might be having too much of a good start to stop, as he is leader of the last hit chart. He's got 2 kills to his name. It's super early, but even on net worth, he's already starting to dominate. And now down bottom, we are going to have Wen going back through. Wen still has no points in those wild axes, instead opts to go for that inner beast proc. Very smart choice from him. He needs to get that little extra bit of attack speed, but it will cost him the ability to harass back the Witch Doctor. We haven't talked a whole lot about the mid lane, but we talked about in draft how Puck may be able to go through and just completely dodge out all the attacks being thrown at him from that DK, because again, these are all pretty mana-intensive spells. The Dragon Tail and the Breathe Fire cost a huge portion of DK's mana pool, so he doesn't want to just slap them out. And Puck so far is going to be able to go through and get a decent amount of last hits, keeping pace with the DK. No one taking a huge stride just yet. Looks like there will be a sentry ward pop down from Nana, making sure there's vision of the Ricky if the Ricky rotates back through. He's going through. Good golly, this lag is a little bit annoying, but hopefully it resolves as the game continues.
I'm not actually receiving any lag, but as I said, hopefully it isn't there for too long. In the mid lane, it's actually a little bit surprising how well the DK is doing, because he is against the range here. Puck does have a little bit more magic damage, so them being equal on last hits does very much favor the DK. He should probably be a little bit behind the Puck if it was like all normal setup, so he's playing pretty well there.
Yeah, I mean, Puck is going through, has that harass you mentioned, has that range advantage, but DK is so beefy. At this point, Nana's right clicks cannot hurt him, so he feels safe being up in that XP range, being up, ready to go for those hits, but now he's running very low on mana. He doesn't want to pop that haste rune just yet, wants to save it for when it's important. Now we are going to see Ricky going in, getting some nice vision onto Wen, who is power pointing down this cliff, is going to be sitting here near the side shop, waiting for a delivery of boots, but will end up going down. There was a dragon tail on him. Now Ricky pops out that smoke. There will be a cask from the Witch Doctor on the back line, so DK will end up securing his first kill of the game, and Radiant Courier chasing after him to give him some goodies. He's got an arcane rune, he's got a haste rune, he's ready to take on mid, but we'll be going back just to secure the last hits as Puck is too big of a target to go on all on his lonesome. And now Zaki rotating up through the river. They could look to turn this onto Abba, but Abba's playing it safe. He's running very low on mana, but will have the soul ring back up in 5 seconds. And it's like the Purge will come out. They're going to get the kill onto Abba. There's nothing he can do to run away here. And he should end up popping. That will be a killing spree. 3-0 out for the Lifestealer. He's doing fantastically. And now takes the top of the last hit chart as well. If you're in Sig.Trust position, how do you put the brakes on this Lifestealer?
Honestly, that's kind of what a Lifestealer pick is for, though. You can't really do much about it in the lane. I mean, they don't have too much to be able to rotate towards him. What they need to do is just try and win the mid lane, try and win the safe lane. They do have the Ricky going for these rotation ganks, and he just needs to keep spotting out kills, and that is like the tool to keep the Lifestealer from not becoming too big. They don't really have any way of stopping him in the lane at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you look for levels elsewhere, but it's not exactly the best scene anywhere on the map for the Radiant. Yeah, they're doing alright mid, but a DK can only scale so far. If there's a huge Lifestealer going against me, we'll always have to play safe. Now, mid lane, we are going to see the blink in from the Ricky. They might be able to get the kill onto Nana. They will be successful with the Breathe Fire, as Ricky is able to secure that last right click and bring down the Puck, so a very ambitious target is secured for Sig.Trust.
Yeah, this Ricky is paying off quite a lot. Like, he's finding these kills. Just being permanent and invisible is very, very annoying and hard to deal with, especially when he's been on all 3 lanes. You can't really predict where he's going to be now, where he's going to be next, since you only see him in one lane at one time, and then suddenly he's gone for 2 minutes.
Oh, speaking of that, up top, we are going to have Abba go in. This will be the 3rd death of the Darkseer. Pretty unfortunate there. That kill will go the way of the Oracle, giving Oracle some much-needed gold. Will pick up the Arcanes right away, able to refresh Lifestealer's mana pool that he has burned down with those open wounds onto the Darkseer. So now we are going to see Nana in the mid lane. Will get a little bit surrounded upon by the Ricky, but doesn't want to dip too far into the tower's true sight. I'm kind of surprised to see this sentry ward from the Dire, as it does very heavily overlap with the tower's true sight. Usually you want to see it maybe a little bit back here. That might have been a little bit better, but well, we'll see.
I think it's just, I think it's to be able to cover the ramp as well in case they did take the other one away. Perhaps, or just, maybe just not thinking too much about it. But it covers a good area, though. This Puck does know fairly well where Ricky's going to be and where.
Puck is going to go through. We'll be jaunting every which way. Ricky's looking for the jump. He's underneath the sentry vision, but can he get away here? There's going to be a blink in from the Ricky. The Dragon Tail from the DK might just be doing enough damage. The rotation in from the Oracle will not be in time. They lose the Puck. They're going on the Oracle now as well. They got the Maledict. Oracle spamming out those purifying flames, but I don't think it's going to be enough here. Maybe trying to take Jabs out with him, but Jabs has that salve going through, and it looks like Afu will end up falling. It's going to be a double kill for the Witch Doctor. That's a nice chunk of gold going the way of the supports. You'd like to see the kill go to the DK, but he's content with those 2 assists.
I mean, he's out farming the Puck right now, so I'm sure he's fine. I'm sure he's gonna accept that.
Alright, you keep the cast going. I'm gonna quickly disconnect and reconnect to try to see if I can fix the lag coming out.
Alright. Hopefully that's not gonna take too long. Anyways, we have the DK in the mid lane, obviously using this Dragon Foam. It's gonna last a little bit long. He's not really gonna be able to do any tower damage with it, which is what you normally would want to do it with, but obviously getting a few kills is fine. Top lane getting pushed, Armlet is up with the Lifestealer, so he's starting to get to the point where he's maybe looking to rotate around in the lanes, but first things first. Oh, welcome back. First things first, he will take the top tower, and I'm not sure if they're gonna try and contest this.
Yeah, I mean, even if they want to contest it, I think they're just a little bit too late. Lifestealer goes in, they're not able to get the deny. They don't currently have vision on the Ricky, so they're not going to lose that kill, but early tower advantage in favor of the Lifestealer is pretty bad. The little golden or silver lining rather is that it is a tier 1 top, not the tier 1 bottom. If they had taken out the tier 1 bottom, that would have been the entire Radiant jungle opened up to the Lifestealer, but he's still got only his own jungle to work with. Will be going through, making the most out of those creeps. Already has the armlet, 8 minutes in the game on top of phase boots, so he is rocking out the top of this net worth chart, followed up by his Puck, who, although was getting out farmed by the DK in the mid, still got a decent amount out of that, did manage to find himself an assist.
Yeah, the Lifestealer is getting to the point where he's probably going to be looking around on the other lanes, maybe even just trying to jump into the Puck, because the Puck Lifestealer is a pretty strong, like, roaming duos to find kills, as they do have the Dream Call up, they do have the Illusionary of Initiation from the Puck, so they should be able to get easy kills.
Looks like Juggernaut will secure the last hit on this tower down bottom, so both off lanes now without a tier 1 tower. Juggernaut is going to be going with the Battle Fury, or what looks like it, as he does pick up that Ring of Health towards the Perseverance, towards the Battle Fury, but he still doesn't have a Quelling Blade, which is a pretty typical early pickup for him.
It's actually a little bit surprising he doesn't have the Quelling Blade, as it does help him a lot with last hitting, but since he hasn't really been jungling except for now, I guess it doesn't matter too much.
Maybe it's a Lincoln Sphere that could actually block out a lot of the damage, but that doesn't give him any fighting potential, so we'll have to see if he picks up that casual Quelling Blade. Maybe he just doesn't want to waste a slot in his inventory. Now Zaki, in some trouble here, will get picked off. That's going to be Zaki's first death of the game, but that does delay his level 6. He died needing only 50 more experience to get that Ice Blast, so he's going to be set back by about a minute. And now we are going to see Nana with a surprise inside with that Lifestealer ready to go. Looking for some sort of jump point, pinging out the mid lane, but that will be a Darkseer and maybe not the easiest target to jump on.
That was actually like an amazingly efficient use of that Dragonfall, because they got the bottom tier 1 and then they instantly TP top and got a kill with it, like while it lasted. And considering it's only 60 seconds, that's using the Dragonfall to its full extent right there.
When I reconnected, I got the bug with the naked DK, so he's a little bit armorless.
The amazing bug.
Yeah, he's got no helmet or weapons, but we'll see what he's able to do regardless. As Ricky now will go for the Diffusal Blade pick first. I think that's pretty standard on support Ricky. You sometimes see stepping stones, like an Aquila, like a Bassi, like a Drums or an Urn, but I like him going straight for the Diffusal. We mentioned how much utility he's already put out. Having that slow, having that purge will be fantastic for Sig.Trust.
Yeah, the Diffusal Blade will just ensure that he can actually, if he gets the Diffusal Blade early enough, he can actually solo the Puck, which is going to be a very big thing. As I mentioned in the draft, like him and the DK is going to be the main ways to deal with the Puck. So if he can just keep the Puck underfarmed as much as possible, let the DK have some solo farm, do some other things, get some objectives instead, and not worry too much about the Puck, then it could be a good use of a roaming Ricky, that's for sure.
Alright, so Naked DK is punching creeps in the mid lane. Looks like he's going to be going for a Drums, picking up both the regen and the Windlace, and now there will be a smoke up. You've got the supports going through. You've got Juggernaut as well, looking to debut that Omni Slash. He's level 9, so he's found himself a ton of XP around the map. The question is, who are they going to go for the jump on? Looks like they might wrap around all the way under this tier tower, and well, Ricky will be revealed courtesy of the Sentry Ward. Oh no, he's smoked up too. I thought he was just invis, so he's not going to be revealed just yet, as there will be a secondary sentry put up. They will scout out this Observer Ward. The creeps take it out, but now there is going to be all the Radiant going through. The Ice Blast will connect onto the DK, so he's going to be not regenning up, not getting the most out of that Dragon form, but now Dream Coil comes out. Oh, everyone taking the raw damage of the Juggernaut spin. He's going through. He's still holding onto the Omni. On the backlands, Witch Doctor ulti doing so much work. There's the Dream Coil coming in handy. Now Ajit goes through. He's going to be a dominating streak. Now he may end up losing his life here. The wall popped out a little bit too late. Will not get any illusions. So Darkseer a little bit too late on the wall, but overall it will be a 1 for 4. Definitely worthwhile for Sig.Trust. They lose arguably their most important hero on the DK. Now they're not going to be having an easy time taking that tower down, but they still get about 1,500 gold going in their favor after that fight.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Oh, Wen just comes right on into the middle of this. Goes in with that Primal Roar. Oracle trying to do what he can to get down jabs. Will be able to do so. And now Wen will take those Purifying Flames. Will be able to heal up, but Could have been a very, very costly engage if Beastmaster had TP'd in and gotten blown up, so I guess count your lucky stars. He had that ult ready to go, was able to cast it. They do get the support Ricky, but they lose their tower to the Jug, so he's starting to spiral really well in terms of gold. He's got top of the net worth chart to his name right now and does pick up that Quelling Blade, so definitely will be going for that Battle Fury and should have it out in just a couple of hundred more gold.
Yeah, that was an amazing engagement for Sig.Trust. Like the Ricky, you saw the smoke screen just instantly disrupting 2 to 3 people there from using any spells, which is a huge deal. The Witch Doctor, obviously, like the man of that fight, just instantly taking a high ground position to use that Death Ward and then just getting a full duration, destroying everyone there. So, a pretty big fight, one for Sig.Trust, getting some big items now, but however, Unity, they are going to pick up the Blink Dagger, however, on the puck, so they do have that initiation coming their way. And together with the Lifestealer, who's getting very, very close to his Desolator, you're going to probably be seeing these two people rotate around and trying to get as many kills as possible. As they are the main force of VG Unity right now.
Absolutely. So here, Ricky will be cleaning up the mid lane. Down bottom, this is going to be a huge tower if Dire can get it, because again, that opens up the entire jungle. That means more farming time for Lifestealer. That means more farming time for Beastmaster and more opportunity for split push. Now in the mid lane, there will be a Dream Coil from the puck. They follow it up with an AA Blast, getting down the Ricky once again. That's just making a little bit of space. Now Ricky can't rotate through, can't get vision of the bottom lane, and the tower does fall. There's going to be a ping out, meaning that Ricky does not want to go in, so they lose their bottom lane. Sig.Trust seems like lost a little bit of that early game advantage. Now up top, we do have a counter push coming through. There will be rotations back, however. Puck is sitting here, no Dream Coil for close to a minute, but we'll be able to get that silence off on the DK. Is that enough to back everyone off? We'll have to see.
Well, he got the creep wave, so they're probably just gonna give up the chase. I mean, they got the tier 1 tower, which is basically just an even trade for the two teams. I don't think we're gonna see much else happening here. Maybe the one team's gonna try and smoke the other, but other than that, just, you know, going back to farming. The Jug just recently picked up that Battle Fury, so he needs some more time to pick up something like the Yasha next.
Alright, so we are going to see a Roshan come out for Unity on the back of Lifestealer's Desolator. Are they going to give the Aegis to the Lifestealer, or are they going to throw it on the Puck? Because Puck is more likely to die. Oh, the smoke revealed by the scan. A counter scan will reveal the counter smoke. Both of these smokes are just useless at this point. Both teams know the rest, are waiting in the wings, looking to jump. Who's the first one to go in? You've got full ultis on both sides, ready to just get this done, but no one is going to be the first to jump right now. There's Lifestealer inside of the Puck, looking for something on the back of that Blink Dagger and Illusory Orb, but it looks like the Radiant will be backing off as their smokes expire, so very, very scared play by both teams, and it looks like Unity might be able to rotate back into the pit with a secondary smoke. Well, looks like Nana going back through Radiant. Ping this out immediately. You have the Ricky going with the smoke screen, but just gets destroyed. Completely blown up. A cask will not end up bouncing, as there's going to be a Death Ward that doesn't catch out anyone. Now, Witch Doctor has to retreat. He's got nothing else in his toolkit except for maybe a Maledict. Looks like the Ice Blast will go through, will connect onto the Juggernaut, so he's not going to be regenning anytime soon. They get down the DK to start things off. Oh, this is going so well for Unity, as they end up ripping apart Juggernaut as well. They get down the Darkseer. They're looking for more. They're looking for the Ricky. Ricky has his sight set on Nana, but Nana, she's going to be healed up by the Oracle. Now Ricky pops into the tricks of the trade. Will be walking back. Do they have vision? Looks like they're going through. They want to find out the Ricky. They are able to get him down with the burst damage of the Waning Rift, and that's going to be a one fight for Unity decisively. They're going to get 4 kills. Everyone but the support Witch Doctor goes down, and they're going to get the Roshan as well. They just have to walk through this wall and deal with the illusion damage. Shouldn't be a problem. 2,300 gold going the way of the Dire, 4,100 XP. That is stacking these charts. Look at the plummet on the XP and gold graph. We are now at a game that favors Unity.
Yeah, that's not even speaking about the rogues that they also going to claim on top of that. It was 5 kills in total, because you actually had the Ricky buying back for that, so Sig.Trust, they really committed for that fight. And I'm a little bit surprised at them actually committing for that fight, because you saw instantly the Ricky went in and he got silenced straight away trying to use that ultimate. Got blown away. The Death Ward was used for like a split second before he stopped it. And from there on, I mean, it was a little bit weird for Sig.Trust believing that they could win that fight after blowing one hero and a very, very important ultimate. But that just favors Unity, and they won a very, very big fight there.
Absolutely. I mean, we still do have Juggernaut, who's keeping up in terms of net worth. He's slightly behind the Lifestealer, but Juggernaut's farming momentum will be pretty fast now that he has that Battle Fury. He's got that Aquila to keep him nice and healthy, and it's going to be taken up to single stack of Ancients. But yeah, Lifestealer, he's doing pretty well for himself. They do now have the Beastmaster Primal Roar. What's he doing with his gem? Gem going back on the courier, and that is going to be just, I guess, a safety precaution, as now we are going to have Ricky rotating around, so not quite sure why Beastmaster's putting back the gem, as you do need it to get this Ricky.
I'm considering maybe he's gonna put it on the puck. Yeah, it's being shipped out. Yeah, it is gonna go on the puck. So it's not gonna just sit in the base idly, because that wouldn't make any sense, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, that really early gem against this offensive Ricky is a great pick. And look how much control Dire has over the map with these wards. They've got one here, scouting out any sort of rotations up onto this platform, and the Radiant jungle is now just triangulated with so much vision. Anyone walking through will be revealed. They've got sentries. One will expire right about now, but the observers keeping everyone seen. And now mid lane, we do have Wen revealing himself to the wave. A lot of pings out from the Radiant. They don't want to go in. Instead, they want to look for counter push of their own. DK hops into that level 2 dragon form. There's going to be a rotation up from the Oracle, revealed by the Ricky. Now Oracle ends up picking off the gem from the courier, and now Ricky will end up taking at least a mini purge right to the face. The rest of the Dire rotating through. They have the Primal Roar on Wen, and they're going to force back the Radiant for now. Everyone on the side of Sig.Trust opting not to fight, instead going down bottom. The Ice Blast will connect onto the DK. This is going to be a huge kill if they get it. They get DK's Dragon form. Now the Vacuum Wall not going to connect onto the Lifestealer. He's still going through. He's still relatively healthy. Cast the Dragon Tail onto the Lifestealer, but Blink into Puck on the high ground. She's a maniac going all the way through. One more hit is not enough to do it, and Puck doesn't want to play too YOLO, so we'll end up backing down to the low ground. DK lives, but he's severely scarred, not able to go continue this fight. Now Ricky is looking for some sort of jump here. There's going to be Ricky hopping into the tricks of the trade, not going to take those wild axes. Instead, they're going to opt to let Unity push this tier 2 tower.
Yeah, well, still a very good jump. You saw the power of the puck jumping with the lifesteal inside of him, followed up by that AA blast. You know, doing a very lot of damage. So it's a good little combo, and they turned around. I'm pretty sure Sig.Trust believed that they were gonna get 5-man rotated to the top lane in the tier 2. So a good little back rotation from the puck, just, you know, showing that he might be going back and then turning around instantly with the lifesteal.
Yeah, these vacuum walls from the Darkseer are just not doing it for me. I'm not quite sure if it's because they're too late or not ambitious enough, but it seems like they're always just too late to have Sig.Trust go in for that counter initiation. They're always very defensive, they're always kind of trying to be zoning, but they never quite seem to be on point. What does Darkseer have to either get in terms of itemization or in terms of initiation to get off the perfect vacuum wall?
It's difficult though, because the thing is, like, he needs either Blink Dagger or the DK needs a Blink Dagger, because right now they don't have any Blink Initiation, and if you don't have Blink Initiation, it is going to be the puck who's determining how the fights will start, because he will not get jumped by anyone unless there's Blink, right?
Oh, speaking of jumping in, we are going to have the Ice Blast connecting as DK is going to go down. That's going to be another killing spree out for the Lifestealer. He is going to go through taking a lot of damage from the Omni Slash. There's a vacuum wall into the Witch Doctor ulti. This is perfect. That's exactly the combo they need. Another will be an Aegis on the Lifestealer. They're looking to lock him down a second time. He goes in, he gets those feasts, and now in the backlands, Wen will be able to turn this. Goes in with the Primal Roar. They get down the Witch Doctor. They're looking for more here. They will not see Ricky as he walks out of that vision range, and there's only level 1 Necro creeps on Wen for now. So, well, they're not able to get everything there, but certainly a successful turnaround. What seemed like the perfect initiation for Sig.Trust was only enough to pop the Aegis on the Lifestealer, and the fact that Wen was able to come back on in means that the Primal Roar reset the fight in favor of Unity. So, Sig.Trust, they've got to do that again. Get another vacuum wall, get another engage, but this time make sure that Lifestealer only has 1 life.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like they burned a lot of powder to get that puck kill, which was great, but the DK dying before that happened just means that they don't have any follow damage, because yeah, the Juggernaut using his spin, he does have Omni Slash, which he also used, so after that, with a Battle Fury owner right now, he just doesn't do anything. The DK being dead, obviously their prime damage deal right now, so if they don't have that guy out, then it's just not going to be able to take any long drag fight past like that 1, maybe 2 kills instantly, right?
Yeah, I mean, DK, he's desperately falling behind here. He's got 3 deaths, but it seems like all of them are off the back of his dragon form, and it's a long cooldown not to get anything out of. And in terms of net worth here, he's going to be 5th on our chart. What does he need to do? What does he need to pick up to be so useful? Looks like he's going for the BKB. Is that going to be enough, or is it just a small part of a comeback?
I feel like it's one of those annoying situations where you probably have to go BKB because the A is getting annoying. You see it every time that he gets jumped, he gets popped by the combo from Puck, Lifestealer, and AA, all of that being magic damage. So he's probably being forced to buy BKB. However, even if he gets it, it doesn't it solves the issue of dying instantly, but you don't really have any fighting power because you don't have the blink initiation, and the BKB does not offer much other than a little bit of survivability, which VG Unity's lineup is pretty good at just dodging out the BKB timer. The puck can just wait it out most of the time if he does get stunned up, which should only happen if he goes next to him because he doesn't have a blink dagger to jump on the puck, right? So it's difficult, right?
Absolutely. And, well, I think you made the right call because, again, Puck is spraying out so much magical damage, but Zaki getting pretty close to that Aghanim Scepter, actually only needs about 1,000 more gold to get that done, and that does end up piercing spell immunity, so not going to be able to dodge out that Shatter, not going to be able to get past that huge lapse to your regen if you're the DK, and that's a really crucial aspect of the hero, and that's another reason I was so worried about the DK pickup into an AA.
Yeah, the A is great for so many uses because you have the Darkseer who's naturally going to get a mech. Like, that is the number one item on that hero, right? You have the Witch Doctor healing, you have the Darkseer natural regen, you have the healing ward even from the Juggernaut. So there's actually 4 heroes that have small parts that the A ult counters, which is just making it amazing. And that is just apart from AA Blast being an amazing combo with the Roar from the Beastmaster, an amazing combo with the Dream Call. It's an overall very, very rounded up hero that does a lot in this game.
Alright, so Tier 2 goes down without even the smallest inkling of a fight, as it looks like Radiant are content to outpush this, and honestly, I mean, I think Unity just push a little bit faster. They've got that beefy Lifestealer as a frontliner. He is super stacked here, having an Assault Cuirass and 1,000 gold to work with. Now, there will be a rotation back from Wen. He's sitting on that Primal Roar ready to go, but we do have the Ricky TPing out, so Wen wastes a little bit of time getting back to this lane, will push it out successfully. The rest of his team is able to continue the initiation, but they will end up losing the Beastmaster's Primal Roar as the jump target in the mid lane.
Yeah, now you see the Puck once again just looking for kills. He even has a 4-staff up now, which is actually a very, very strong item. It is to be able to counter the Ricky, because the Ricky with a smoke screen is obviously very annoying for Puck, so just to be able to get out of that smoke screen instantly. And item-wise, I mean, there's 2 blinks now on VG Unity, I believe. One on the Beastmaster, one on the Puck. The Lifestealer, I guess you can say that he has a free blink with the Puck. So... He's just abusing the Puck a little bit there, but yeah, and as you said before, the Assault Cuirass up on the lifesteal, so he is very, very beefy right now.
He's about to get himself a second life, dropping a Stout Shield in the pit. I mean, Lifestealer is already so goddarn hard to get down the first time, now having 2 lives. Can Sig.Trust even hope to bring him down, or do they have to force 2 separate fights? I just don't know how much longer Sig.Trust can last playing at a very passive standpoint.
Yeah, they are having the line where they really just want to farm it out, but the thing is, VG Unity, they're getting so much in terms of objectives. They're getting roaches, they're getting kills left and right. Pretty much every time the Puck ultimate is off cooldown, they just look for kills. So it's limited how much this Juggernaut just being able to walk around on the map and farming will do. As you can see, he's 4,000 gold behind of a Lifestealer who's naturally supposed to not farm as quickly. And the Lifestealer having an Aegis now means that he can pretty easily just go high ground. I'm a little bit surprised they didn't opt to go for the Aegis on the Puck, because the Lifesteal doesn't really have any way of dying right now, I believe. But if they just use the Aegis to send him to the high ground, hit on the tower a few times, and then walk away again, then I guess it is the plan with that usage.
They can kind of kamikaze him. Interestingly enough, Ricky has not found that diffuser yet. We're now almost 30 minutes in the game. He's still sitting on virtually starting items. He had such a strong start in that offensive position, but his impact has definitely dwindled as he got locked down over and over again by the early gem pickup from Warriors.
Yeah, the early gem pickup and just rotating around as 5 people, like moving as a team from VG Unity is a great way to kind of counter the Ricky. It's a good way to counter the Juggernaut as well, because Juggernaut, before he has like 3-4 items, is not a good team fighter. He can get pickups, yeah, but you cannot team fight. That is just not a thing that this hero is good at.
Alright, so Puck, again, with Lifestealer all up in his belly, will be going up onto the high ground. Could end up just kind of YOLOing it up to the base, spraying out the Lifestealer, going in for the damage, but they're going to sit back and control themselves, which I really like. Similar teams in a similar position may end up just trying to push their advantage, but Warriors know they're not going to be losing their lead anytime soon. The Juggernaut is not farming faster than the Lifestealer. The Riki is not really doing a whole lot in terms of transitioning to that semi-carry role, and DK, after having those 3 deaths, only really has a BKB to his name and not much else, whereas the Lifestealer, he's almost stacked. The Puck has all his toolkit ready to go. So if we look at the overall gold lead, it's just continuing to snowball into Warrior Gaming's favor.
Yeah, they're sitting on a 10k lead right now, and as you can see, Sig.Trust, they are responding to this. They're going for that kind of YOLO smoke. It's not at the point where they have no way of coming back into the game, but they need a big pick off, and it does not look like the smoke will grab them the pick off they're looking for. So they need to just play it safe, try and move around as a team, maybe hope to be able to find some kind of pick off. Because they cannot just let VG Unity control the game. They cannot just let them control the engagements as they have for the last maybe like 10-15 minutes with the Puck and Lifestealer, right?
Yeah, well, it's going to get harder and harder now as Lifestealer picks up that Skull Basher. Could transition into the Abyssal very shortly, and honestly, if they go Abyssal and land a successful proc on the Juggernaut or the DK, it could just be GG. At this point, DK is super, super poor. He's sitting on enough for buyback, but again, his only real utility item is that BKB sitting at 10 charges.
Yeah, and the BKB doesn't do much for him against the Lifestealer, since the Lifestealer has now 2 items that takes away a big chunk of that armor. You have the Open Wounds, which does insane damage to a DK because it is that tanky heroes that Lifestealer is very good against, so... He solves the issue with the BKB against the Puck, but he does not solve it against the Lifestealer.
Yeah, I'm sitting back way panned out for this fight because I'm not quite sure where the jump is going to take place, if Lifestealer hops in the Puck and the Puck blinks up, or if there's going to be a run-in from the Darkseer to go into that vacuum wall. Either way, it looks like there will be a Primal Roar onto the DK. He will get Force-Staffed back from that Witch Doctor. Looks like Witch Doctor runs right into the Aghanim Scepter AA Blast, and that is going to be pretty deadly. Now, Jabs getting very, very low there just from the Puck Waning Rift, and Puck's toolkit will reset in just a couple of moments, still holding onto the Dream Coil. Could blink back in and start the fight all over again, but either way, tier 3 goes down in favor of Warriors. They got what they came for, and now they could just back off with absolutely no loss whatsoever. They may go for a fake back here and try to push out bottom. They could just reset and go back up mid, but they may need that Primal Roar to get things going a second time.
Yeah, they're just playing it smart. They're just using the Lifestealer in an abusive way, honestly. Just going in, popping his rage, hitting the racks a few times, going out and trying to reset it. Oh, God.
They're chain force-staffing up onto the high ground, but it's not even going to work out. They go in with the Triple Man Dream Coil. Oh, this is just dirty! As the AA Blast flies through, Abba gets a really nice vacuum, but not able to follow it up. Witch Doctor with a nice Death Ward, doing a lot of damage, will be able to get the kill onto the Puck. And now Puck will go down again, dropping that gem is huge, and Unity trying to get out here will take an Omni Slash right to the face. Is going to get Force-Staffed in. Everyone just chasing this Lifestealer for all it's worth, but looks like Afu is going to be there healing him up with the Purifying Flames, and now they will get the Purge onto the DK. Can they turn? DK in that BKB form looking for the Oracle, but they're going to just split their attention here, focusing back the Lifestealer, who now is Dragon-tailed up. If they can get him down here, that's huge. He's raging up. He wants to take someone out with him, but looks like he might not be able to do so. He gets low. He goes down to the Juggernaut, rather the Dragon Knight, who gets that last hit. So it's going to be Puck and Lifestealer going down. Arguably the 2 most important heroes traded only for a Riki and a set of racks, which it's not ideal if you're Sig.Trust, but at least they get 1,500 gold back in their favor.
They did also have to commit the buyback. I can't remember which other one it was, but Juggernaut had to buy back there. And let's see, I believe it was it the DK who bought back? No, it was the Darkseer. Yeah, that's it, who bought back. So still a pretty big win for VG. They got the set of racks, which is the most important tool they got there. Losing the Lifestealer, I think you can live with that. I mean, they committed a lot for that. They committed BKB charges, they committed buybacks, so you can have that kill. They're just gonna go back at you in a couple of minutes when the next Roche is up, and then if they can hold there, then maybe. But it's looking a little bit grim right now.
So what we saw there was a lost fight from Warriors Gaming. Was that just overconfidence from the Lifestealer and the Puck, or is that Warriors window starting to close and maybe Juggernaut DK coming online?
I feel like that was just a very odd engagement in general, like the fight of the 4 stars, I guess you can call that, because he got dragged all the way in, which was pretty much the main reason they could bring him down the first time. He got dragged into the 2 tier 4s, which does a lot of damage. The Puck jumped in after him and instantly got blown up because of just being too deep in the base. Lifestealer obviously being able to survive a little bit better, but ended up ended up being a little bit too deep because the AE, the Beastmaster, the Oracle, they can't really go that deep in to try and help. So it was a 2-on-5 for a couple of seconds there.
Okay, so we are going to have a full smoke up from Warriors Gaming Unity. They're looking for a jump point here. They got mid, very successful for them. Now that lane will keep pushing out on its own. The super creeps, those big boys coming in. Let's hopefully they don't go to... Oh no! Oh man, it was just an illusion! They commit a Primal Roar for the DK illusion rune. Oh, good golly. That is very, very costly. They should have known it was an illusion as the smoke didn't pop.
That was a little bit trigger happy, maybe. Alright, all these 4-stars, man. What is actually happening?
We saw there's the chain 4-staffs up. It can make someone travel a hell of a long distance. So Darkseer has picked one up. DK, no, he's got his blink. Juggernaut, he's going to be focusing on that mobility coming out of the phase boots. But Witch Doctor's got that 4-staff as well. It's going to be a fun time, just slapping people all over the map. Now Ricky does find that Diffusal Blade. He's gotten a little bit of use out of it so far. And, well, is that going to be enough utility here? It seems like at this point the Ricky should be starting to transition into that semi-carry position, but not really that close. It looks like he is going to go for what looks like an S and a Y. Alright, so, Nana gets blinked. That was a TP out from... What? Everyone's too trigger happy here as all the ults sprayed out in one direction. This AA Blast will only connect onto one. We'll be able to secure the kill onto Jabs. And now on the top lines here, Afu does end up getting that purge onto the Juggernaut. And we are going to have... Oh, nice vacuum wall! We'll go through. Juggernaut gets the kill onto the Oracle. And now Lifestealer hops inside when trying to get out of here alive. The Primal Roar is ready to go. We'll cast it out. But is it going to be a time? He's sitting underneath the spin from the Juggernaut. The Juggernaut doing so much work. We'll be able to get a double kill here, taking out the Beastmaster and its Lifestealer fending for himself, wanting to go through, but the 4-staff keeps the Darkseer up onto the high ground. He's going to go through, trying to get more here. They're going to reinitiate with Nana, and Nana did not end up going down in that fight, although it looked like she did get quite low. So it is going to be a 2-for-3 engage. Warriors Gaming, they end up losing their Beastmaster and the Oracle, but they do trade. They get the Juggernaut, they get the DK, and the Ricky.
Yeah, that was a pretty good jump, all things considered, from Signature. They just didn't get too much value out of the Dragon Knight with the BKB up. He ended up just pretty much walking around, which is kind of just how you can see. Even though he has a blink now, it's still very, very difficult for him to get a proper jump on, as the puck managed to get away from the Ricky's small claws with all these damn 4-stars that they have going for him.
So Lifestealer now has that Abyssal Blade. I don't know if he had it for that last fight or if it was still just a basher, but either way, that will help his lockdown a huge amount. Being able to lock down that Juggernaut before he goes in to that spin will be a huge tool for him.
Yeah, they have the Acronyms on the puck and the Abyssal on the Lifestealer, so they have, plus the Raw on top of that, they have 3 ways to stun people through BKB, through spin, through whatever. So the DK and the Juggernaut, whoever they will choose to go on, will... they will have a pretty nice way to chain stun them up and make them very useless.
Jeez, just going to be left on the ground. Looks like it will be picked up from the Oracle, so he'll have that. Most likely won't have to use it himself, but instead will just schlep it around and give it to one of his carries, who ends up either spending the Aegis or just getting kind of low and backing off in this fight. So we are going to see a rotation down. Beastmaster does have that Primal Roar back after that, again, a little bit of trigger happiness on that illusion up here. He definitely regrets that, and well, Warriors Gaming, they definitely lost a little bit of momentum. It's still in their favor, but we do see in the last, 10-15 minutes, it's planed out. They're not gaining any more lead. They're not losing any, but they're holding tight to what they have, and that will be a little bit of a window for Sig.Trust to continue to hold and scale up on the back of these small pickoffs.
Yeah, this Juggernaut just needs to get space, and the Lifestealer is just still very, very big, and he's very scary to deal with right now, but if they can hold on for maybe a couple more pushes, then they do have a window to get in. The Juggernaut is looking like he's gonna go for a Diffusal Blade next, so they want to like stack up the Diffusals. The Diffusal Blade is probably a very, very good way to both slow people, control people, and do a lot of damage with the mana burn. So a good little item just to try and do as much as possible with as little goal as possible.
Alright, so we are going to have the blink in from the DK in the Dragon form. They get the Dragon Tail onto Nana. Vacuum Wall connects onto 3! Fantastic job from the Darkseer. Now Dream Coil onto the high ground will hold on to 3 as well, so no one's able to go too far. They don't want to break that tether. That stun is pretty nasty. So Warriors Gaming, they get a huge surprise with that Vacuum Wall, but now they get the ulties off the Witch Doctor, off of the Darkseer rather, off of the DK. They can sit back. They can restock, and they do still have that Primal Roar at their disposal. Dream Coil will be a relatively short cooldown. Now, Aji just going all the way in, digging onto this tower, forcing out the Fortify. They might be able to go through. Again, the Force Staff movement on this team is absurd, but looks like they're not able to go through and defend just yet. Illusory Orb will come through. Does Puck jaunt? Now she's silenced up, is not able to go onto the high ground. The tower will end up going down courtesy of the Necro units of the Beastmaster. So slow and steady wins the race as Warriors are slowly gaining the high ground objectives.
And this is just rage popping. He has an Aegis, so even if they do manage somehow to get a jump on him, he's just not doing anything. He's just slowly chipping away the racks, forcing them to do something. They don't have ult up, as you said yourself, so it is very difficult for Sig.Trust to go in. They kind of just want to have to wait these next 40 seconds for the Dragon Form and the wall to be up again. But can they wait this long is the question.
Okay, there's going to be a Dragon Hail onto the Lifestealer. He has to sit there for the full duration as he was not raged up, but there's the rage coming back through. He's chomping on these melee racks, will be able to secure it. They immediately pick off that ward, so this could be the beginning of the end unless they get another perfect initiation Darkseer wall. 10 more seconds. If they get another stellar vacuum wall, maybe they turn this, but again, Lifestealer still is sitting on that Aegis. They still do have a ton of regen coming in on the backlines. Oracle, I believe, is still holding on to the cheese. No, he gave it to the Puck. So Puck now has essentially a second life as well if he can manage to strike that key in time. And now the backdoor protection is broken from the mid lane. They're able to go through and munch on this tower. Another rage up from the Lifestealer means that he's going to be able to go through, get some serious damage now. Fei Mao is going to be looking for that Breathe Fire into the Dragon Tail as soon as the rage ends, but can't commit too deeply off of his own high ground. This is not the position you want your DK to be at 40 minutes in the game.
They're forced to be in defensive position again, but they just can't afford it. They need to get a jump as the next one, and they will go for it, as you can see.
Oh yeah, Aji still sitting here. Will get forced up onto the high ground again. His first life. The BKB will get pierced by the Ice Blast, and it's going to be a dominating streak. Buyback from the DK, so this is going to be the beginning of the end. The last hold coming out from the Radiant. They go into the Ghost form and are able to save the Witch Doctor for now. On the backlines there, the DK just doing some serious damage, but his Dragon form will end up going down as now he gets feasted upon. If he goes down here, I think it's all over. He will get picked off by the Lifestealer. I wouldn't be surprised to see the GG come out any moment, as there we go. Fei Mao calls it out. And game one will go in favor of Warrior Gaming Unity. This is, again, a best of 3, the semifinals of the WCA 2016. And, well, we're going to come back for game number 2 in just a couple of moments. I promise not as much delay as last time. No worries on that. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the casting, please feel free to give me and my co-caster a follow on Twitter. You can find him at MadKingsDota over there in the top right-hand corner of the stream. I am Android, ANNEE-DROID. So stick around. More WCA action coming up right after this, and the best way to support the stream and support the casting is to go ahead, disable your ad block for the next couple of minutes so we can show some ads, generate that revenue, and that's how we get paid. So again, thank you all for your consideration. Just hold tight for game number 2. Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to game number 2 of the WCA 2016 semifinals best of 3 between Sig.Trust and Warriors Gaming Unity. Looks like Warriors Gaming Unity took a convincing game 1. They grabbed themselves a lifestealer. They did a fantastic job at getting it farm in lane, and mid lane was won by a awesome little puck. So we'll see what Warriors Gaming are going to draft here, but Signature, they're sticking with what they know. They're going to grab the Darkseer once again for ABBA. He played it pretty nicely in the offlane, got a fair amount of farm. Sometimes the vacuum walls were really on point, sometimes a little bit off the mark, but hopefully looking to hone their gameplay in, sharpen their skills, and finish off this series, because again, if Warriors Gaming Unity end up taking this series in a clean 2-0 sweep, they win themselves a spot in the grand finals here at WCA, so going to be an exciting series all around. Once again, picking up an Oracle for Afu, and that's going to be another tool to dispel the Darkseer ion shells and whatever else Signature have to throw at them. So Warriors, they're sticking with what they know as well.
Yes, I mean, the Darkseer in the last game, it's kind of hard to blame him. He got some pretty nice vacuums off that just didn't really have any follow-up damage to combo with it, because at that point Warriors game were just too far ahead. They had too much magic immunity to actually burst through that. So the Darkseer being picked up, not too bad. I mean, it still has its uses. I still believe that Sig.Trust may be picking it up a bit early, even though it is a comfort hero for them, obviously, because it kind of locks you in a position where you want to be able to get some kind of team fight going. Warriors Game Unity obviously picking up the Oracle, and it will actually just instantly follow that up with the lifesteal, which worked out great. It's a good hero against the Darkseer in the lane. It's a good hero like in the later stages against the Darkseer to if you get vacuumed, you can just instantly pop your rage and deny all kinds of magic damage coming in. And you saw how they played it last game, so you're not too surprised to see it picked up again.
Yeah, I mean, again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but Sig opt to go for an Earth Spirit, and I like this pick here. It's going to be a lot more rotatey. They're going to be able to go in a little bit more aggro, replacing that Ricky that wasn't super successful. Had a nice early game, but just kind of trickled off towards the mid.
Yeah, Earth Spirit is definitely a better roam in this situation, especially because it doesn't get jumped as easily by heroes like a lifesteal, like a Pug. It does have ways to get away from these heroes very quickly by stunning them, rolling away, or just instantly rolling away. Lifesteal, obviously, they tried to just sort him out by having a lot of 4-stars, but he still managed to get a lot of kills, so obviously just a couple of 4-stars was not enough to get your fingers away from the lifestealer.
Yeah, so now we're going into ban number 3, Io taken out of the pool, and I think Io could have been a pretty neat pick, but unfortunately Signature won't get to get their paws on it this time. Signature still do need another support. They need a mid and a core, so we'll see what they want to snap up here. They could go for more of a babysitting secondary support, something like a Shaman or a Crystal Maiden, or, you know, let's see, like a Wyvern or something with a built-in heal. That could be a pretty neat pickup for Sig, as they did definitely need that heal rather, up against the Lifestealer last game.
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult. I mean, the IO ban, I guess, Signature does run it, and it is the second phase pick, so they do have 2 picks. IO combos could definitely come out. I don't know about picking a hero against the Lifesteal. It's a little bit difficult because either you go for a tanky hero who can man fight him, but Lifesteal is good against strength heroes in terms of since he does damage based on HP, and this natural like Deso carry and whatnot. So it's an awkward little engagement to go up against the Lifestealer, but there's some options. I mean, the Sven is okay. The Juggernaut I would still believe is good. I don't believe the Juggernaut from the last game was necessarily bad. It's actually one of the better heroes against the Lifesteal because of the Omnislash. As long as the Lifesteal just isn't able to use his Infest, that is a pretty strong spell against him. They just didn't really get able to use the Juggernaut in the early game. He wasn't in any fights. They didn't rotate him around. They tried once with the Smoke Gang, but it didn't get anything done. So, you know, I just felt like the Juggernaut was too passive, or at least didn't get anything done that they needed to get done.
Yeah, I think the Juggernaut just had such a tricky time. The early kills stacked up against him, and Jug against a Lifestealer is pretty brutal, so honestly, maybe they just throw everything up in the air and go for something like an anti-mage here. I think that could end up working, although the Purge from the Oracle will be a nice handy way to hold him in place, and now with the Clockwork, that's pretty spooky.
Hmm.
Honestly,
That's interesting. The Juggernaut is still actually pretty good here against the Clockwork in the lane, and also the later stages. Slag could
5
be
seconds
an option
remaining.
as well, since the Slag with the Soul Edge is a very good counter against the Lifestealer. But
Reserve
it's
fund.
tricky because Slag suffers very heavily to early magic damage. For example, from the Oracle with Purifying Flames, the Clockwork getting a jump on him could be a little bit tricky, and they do still have two heroes to be able to pick up to go against something like a Slag. So they have options. They have heroes that do on paper deal well with the Lifestealer slash Clockwork slash whatever, but it's not going to be too easy to pick a safe lane up against them.
oh, who calls it?
Radiant
I
team
called it.
pick.
I want to see Signature pick up something that does really well when trapped in a small space, because Clockwork is going to be a nice initiator here, going in with the hooks, but if you pick a hero that deters getting hooked on, that's going to be a pretty nice jump point for Signature. Something like an
10
Axe
seconds
could
remaining.
actually dominate the lanes pretty well, does decently up against a Lifestealer, and can
5
completely
seconds
shut down a
remaining.
Clockwork.
Yeah, it's good. It's very good actually. The winter
Reserve
since the
fund.
lifesteal it is just fully nullifies the lifesteal jumps, because if a lifesteal goes in, you can just curse him. Even though it doesn't do any damage necessarily, it stops him from being able to do anything while he's raged up, and then you can get some kind of counter initiation going.
Dire team pick.
Alright, so Zeus most likely going to be a mid here, could be that support, but I think the early damage, the fantastic level 6, I mean, I'm just not quite sure how much utility they get out of him. You know, even in the laning phase, he's relatively easy to kill. If you pick up someone ranged, if you pick like a Windrunner,
10
if Signature
seconds
up to go for
remaining.
that route, you can just kind of pop him. Queen of Pain as well can do a huge sum of
5
damage, and
seconds remaining.
yeah, Zeus has a decent nuke. So far, Signature are pretty squishy, but I'm not
Reserve
seeing
fund.
him.
That's a very difficult pickup to pull off. As you said, they already have an Earth Spirit, which is one of the greatest heroes to deal with the Zeus in the game. The Winter Wyvern, obviously, the Zeus can deal with the Cold Embrace people. You can burst them down, but it feels like too much of a focus on the Winter Wyvern pick this just now. As Sig.Trust, they have two more picks. They have a carry and a mid laner that they can both figure out. They now know what material they're up against. They know what safe laner they're up against. So maybe showing their cards a little bit too early. I feel like the Zeus should have at least been a fifth pick, if anything, because it's not necessarily a normal material right now. There are other heroes that is more commonly picked up in this meta. So,
Or a Medusa. That's something.
Radiant
or
team
Medusa.
double.
I mean, if it has a good ultimate against the lifesteal, it goes through the magic community. So on that regard, it's good. It gives them that little late game situation again as they had last game where they tried to farm the Juggernaut.
10
So this
seconds
does
remaining.
put some kind of timer on Warriors Gaming and what they're gonna be able to do.
5 seconds remaining.
Since Medusa late game, we all know what happens when when Medusa goes late, right?
We might have to buckle up here and take on like a
Dire
70-minute
team
game, but I don't know if Signature are going to get that much room. I mean, Medusa will have a very free lane. If this is a traditional off-lane Clockwork, she should have a decent start, but again, ganks from the Zeus, ganks from the Lifestealer, that's going to be pretty dangerous. And here, what's the
Dire
Lifestealer
team
combo? Usually you only see him picked up when you have someone to be his little taxi driver around the map, so I'm not quite sure how much use Warriors may get out of the Lifestealer, because like you mentioned, Deuce ult cuts right through it. They've got Winter Wyvern to Winter's Curse up a target and have Lifestealer munch on
10
them.
seconds
They've got,
remaining.
it could be a very even draft here
5
going into last pick.
seconds remaining.
I'm a little bit skeptic about it, because it feels like Warriors
Reserve
Gaming is
fund.
putting their faith on the Clockwork initiations, because you do have the hookshot initiation. So if you have a Clockwork with a lifesteal inside of him, you hookshot someone. It does give pretty much the same thing as the puck in the last game, in sense of getting some early aggression going. But that does put a lot of pressure on the Clockwork, because he is already facing a pretty difficult lane to pull off. You have a Winter Wyvern, does a lot of damage in the lane, makes you unable to get any kinds of kills. You have the Earthspirit roll, you have the Medusa being a ranged here, it does a lot of bursts with the Mystic Snake. So Clockwork is not necessarily going to have a very, very easy lane to pull off, and should not get too much farm.
10 seconds remaining.
We'll have to see here. Again, it's very situational. If Signature get their act together, alright, they pick up a tiny, so it will be a Dusa mid, and I think Dusa mid will do good against the Zeus. The Mystic Snake can just chunk down his health, but once Zeus ends up picking up that Veil, he's gonna have some nice harass against the Dusa. The Mana Shield can only do so much.
10 seconds.
Yeah, I guess it is going to be a Medusa mid. I was wondering if it could also be a Tiny mid, but
5 seconds.
Tiny mid doesn't do that well against Zeus until he gets to like a point where he can just charge him down. So most likely going to be a Medusa. Does a lot of damage with the Mystic Snake, like you said. Especially against the Zeus, because Zeus has a very, very low HP pool. So
5 seconds remaining.
could be an even matchup in the mid lane.
Oh god, 90-minute
Oh, wow.
game incoming.
That is that is shit. Okay, so Warriors game, they're not gonna give up. They don't want to give in to having the worst late game team.
So is this going to be a core Naga, or is it going to be a support that transitions into a core? A support Naga? Because it looks like Warriors Gaming, they were going to go for a support here, but I guess seeing the Dusa pick, they started trembling, and, you know, can Oracle solo support? Is there going to be enough room on the map to get Zeus, Naga, and Lifestealer farmed up?
I'm wondering if Lifesteal is going to be a jungler here, or if it is going to be something like a support Zeus. Okay, it is Nana playing. Wasn't that the mid? Yeah, that was the mid,
it's a mid
laner. So it is a mid Zeus. Naga should be safe lane, and Lifestealer, whether he's going to be like doing some kind of dual offlane with Clockwork or just jungling, I think he's going to be jungling, but that is greedy. That is like beyond greedy.
Yeah, it is going to be a core Naga. Again, support Naga is not terrible. Very situational. Takes a bit of time to come online, but yeah, we got a core Naga going against a core Dusa with a Lifestealer who's going to be jungling as he picks up that Iron Talon. Go ahead and plop you guys into our HUD. And now that is going to put our Twitter handles over there in the top right-hand corner. Once again, I'm Annie, aka Android, and I'm being joined by Mad Kings. If you're enjoying the casting, go ahead, check us out on Twitter, drop us a follow. Let us know how we're doing. We're both open to constructive criticism. So thank you guys so much for tuning into the English coverage of the WCA 2016. And we are excited to bring the game to you guys. Again, this is game number 2 of a best of 3 to determine who gets a spot in the grand finals of the WCA. So what's your take on the drafts here? I mean, we talked about the potential to go late. You talked about the instability of the Lifestealer jungling and how greedy that is, but I do think there's a fair amount of greed on Sig.Trust as well.
Yeah, you can go both ways. Honestly, I think laning wise, I believe Warriors game will be able to go away with this Lifesteal being a greedy jungler, because you have the Darkseid in the offlane. He can't really punish too much. He can maybe get some farm for sure, but he cannot really punish in a way of getting kills. You have the Winter Wyvern, a very, very passive support. He needs to be able to secure the Medusa. The mid lane is probably going to be the place that Sig.Trust can try and get aggressive by shutting down the Zeus. But apart from that, I don't think they're going to be able to do too much. So the Lifestealer should be having a decent time, and it's pretty much going to be all around getting some ganks going in the mid lane. And whether or not Zeus is going to have a decent time, or if he's going to get shut down.
Alright, so before we go ahead and introduce the teams, just some basic theory crafting. If we're at a 95-minute game, you got a Naga who had some decent early game, you got a Dusa who had some decent mid game. Who is bigger? Who holds on longer? Who does the most? Naga or Dusa?
I would say they're even, but draft-wise, Sig.Trust has the better late game, because heroes like Oracle falls slightly off in the later game, still has the false promise, but doesn't really offer much other than that. Zeus, you start to get to a point where you have BKBs. Heroes like Medusa is very, very tanky, and I mean the Winter's Curse is great late game. It's an amazing tool. The Darkseid also being very, very strong late game, has a good farming potential all game long, can get hexes, Shiva's God, whatnot. Earthspit with a lot of save items with the axe and stuff. So late game, Sig.Trust should have a better late game. But if the Nagasaki falls out of control, get an early Radiance, then we all know what happens with that. You just get pushed down. You can't really get to farm anywhere because you just keep having to defend your lanes, and that is very, very difficult to deal with.
Alright, I completely agree. I think both teams have a long battle ahead of them. So now we have a brief moment before the action breaks out. We can go ahead and introduce the teams here. Oh, maybe not. Maybe Wen's just already dead. He's going to go into the cogs. Will end up taking a snake to the face. Ends up going and taking that Arctic burn. Is able to cogs his way out of it. Just has to go right-click the dragon. Wen should be okay here. We'll have another tango to keep himself healthy. But before any blood is spilled on the side of Sig.Trust, we are going to have Boom Bell on the support Wyvern up here. We will have the Dusa being played by Lakells. In the mid lane, it's going to be Fei Mao on this Tiny, and down here bot we have a duel, as there will be an initiation all the way in. Jabs going in for the roll, will not connect, and meanwhile Abba will be playing the Darkseer. And, well, how's Unity looking?
Alright, so we have once again Afu playing the Oracle. I believe he played that, well, they played that as well last game?
Yep.
I can't remember. Saki on lifesteal again, so you know, enjoying the same heroes, but like you said, if it ain't broken, then fix
Zaki
it.
was the ancient apparition last game.
So was he?
Definitely
oh
switching
yeah, they
things
changed
up.
it around. Yeah, okay, that's just me then. Nana playing the Zeus in the mid lane. We have Wen on the Clockwork, and we have Ajit on the Naga Siren, just you know, wiggling away in the bottom lane.
Alright, so up top, Clockwork, no surprise, having a bit of trouble. Clockwork is one of those offlaners that you don't expect to win his lane. Now Afu will get initiated on, will go through, purging himself out of that stun, and now there's just so much damage coming out from the Ion Shell ticks. This could be first blood, one more hit, two more secures the kill. Abba's able to get it. There will be a return kill onto the Earth Spirit, and now Naga looking to chase down here, does have that mirror image in the Riptide, might end up going here for the Darkseer, but Darkseer does have the Surge, so that's going to be the end of the blood for now. 1-for-1 trade will end up favoring Sig.Trust as they do secure the first blood advantage.
Yeah, it's a fine trade. Pretty even, honestly, because the Nagasan obviously getting a good start is something you don't really want to happen. As we talked about, getting an early radiance is not something that Sig.Trust should be aiming at.
Down bottom, there will be another boulder kick coming in onto Ajit. Again, he's going to have to deal with a lot of harass in lane. There's going to be a full duration purge channeled up against him, getting a nice duration of that hold in place. But Jab's A-okay here. There's going to be a salve onto the Naga. I believe that was oracles that he bought for him, so good support in there. And Naga able to go back here, doing alright in terms of last hits, but our big leader will end up being Tiny in the mid lane. So Tiny up against a Zeus, you'd expect the Zeus to go through and harass the living crap out of him, but apparently the Stout Shield is enough to keep him safe, and that puts Dusa in the safe lane, getting a lot here against the Clockwork. Oh, down bottom.
Yes. Oh, God.
More blood spilled, as they do end up trading the Naga for the Earth Spirit. Definitely not a worthwhile trade. You do not want to drop that core Naga at all in the early game, so even though they do drop the Earth Spirit, Dusa getting the kill on the clock, so she's stacking up good. And Naga ends up back to the grave. So far, in this very early portion of the game, hard carry war is being won by the Dusa, as she is out farming the Naga and has a kill to her name.
Yeah, it's a little bit more aggression, in the top and bottom lane compared to what you would expect. But you know, both teams just looking to get the kills they can get. Clockwork, like we talked about, not really the best laner. He's struggling a lot right now. He's still a 1, doesn't really have any laning potential. All he can really do is try and leech, use the cogs to push away the Winter Whale when he gets gone on. And it's a hard life right now if you're Clockwork.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Clockwork here, you're not expected to win the lane. You're expected to find a couple scraps of farm, but you do make up the farm very easily once you start going for the hook shots and the kills. The experience starts to spiral in your favor, and Clockwork doesn't need a whole lot of utility. A Blink Dagger is nice, maybe a Drums or, you know, a item at some point, a Lotus Orb. But he's not very item dependent. He just needs that level 6. He needs a team that benefits from his gank ability, and that's really it.
That's all you need as a Clockwork, and he's probably going to try and max rockets here so he can get some kind of farm, but...
Deep dive here from Sig.Trust, going way in. Naga is able to get a fair amount of harass onto the Earth Spirit, but they lose the Oracle. Now they may end up losing the Naga as well. Naga not able to run from this. It's going to be a killing spree for Abba. That's going to be his 3rd kill of the game, 3-0-1 on the Darkseer, and Naga... She dies for a second time. Very unfortunate there. Naga cannot keep dying, but, you know, it's not like she's playing too aggressively. She's sitting underneath her own tier 1 tower. Now the Mystic Snake, they do have just barely enough damage to get down the Clockwork up top. Winter Wyvern enjoying that kill. I thought for sure the Clockwork would escape with a fraction of his health, but he does end up going down for the 3rd time. Unity having a lot of trouble getting off the ground now.
This is Sig.Trust. They're all over the place. They're even gonna go for 2-man smoke and key on the Earthspirit and Darkseer, and this combo is also doing so much work. Level 3 Iron Shell, and they have 2 of them on the Naga plus Oracle down in the bottom lane, doing insane amounts of damage.
Oh, mid lane, Nana is just going to get unloaded upon. They go in with the Avalanche toss up, will barely live to see the ground, and that's going to be a dominating streak from the Darkseer. The Mystic Flare, or rather the missile from the Clockwork flies through. We'll get Tiny kind of low here. He's running low on regen, picks up a full bottle, may be able to go find a rune as it spawns in a couple of seconds, but Man, this Darkseer is just a monster. A very, very different game for him than what we saw last time. And, you know, what's really the difference? Why is Darkseer doing so well this time as opposed to slow levels, slow kills last time?
I mean, this time he has an Earth Spirit who can just do the heavy lifting for him, if you can say so. Just frontlining, going in, getting some engagements going, and Oracle. Yeah, you have the Fortune's End, but the thing is, you can only take one of them away, and Darkseer has a better uptime on his Iron Shell. So even if you do purge some away, you can still just get more up faster than the Oracle can use the spells. And Earth Spirit, man, he has rolls ready all the time. So finds an opening, gets a kill.
Alright, so we've got Afu on the Oracle sitting under tower, super, super poor, only has 3 last hits, and, you know, that's with the Naga skipping into the jungle now, and is the Naga really going to be able to get enough out of this jungle, considering that she's splitting the jungle with the Lifestealer, who, you know, we haven't spent a whole lot of time talking about Zaki. He actually has a decent amount of farm. He's sitting pretty well stacked on the last hit chart, he's getting his levels, but at a huge cost here. The Naga is just not going to do anything until 45 minutes at this rate.
Yeah, he is level 6, so he should be looking to get something going soonish. However, as you said, I mean, Sig.Trust, they have their 3 cores all being the top 3 net worth right now, followed by the 3 from Unitas, so Lifestealer, he needs to up that game and get out of the jungle, get something going. Probably going to be looking to do some of these infest ganks. However, I'm not so sure who he can even do it with. He's probably going to still be forced to wait for the clockwork to get the hook shot up. But being level 3, that's a while off.
Yeah, so Naga finding a little bit more space now, able to pick up some shoes, able to pick up the Aquila, is kind of climbing slowly but surely back onto that last hit chart. So after a very rough start in lane, it looks like she won't be slowed down too much. But on the flip side, we've got Dusa as the last hit leader, switching over to net worth now. Definitely the net worth leader as well. There will be a roll in, will not connect on the Zeus just yet. There they go, the boulder kick will go through there. It's going to be a toss, avalanche up. Now Zaki, he's in, he's angry, he gets the feast onto the Tiny. There's going to be a purge as well, going through the Fortune's End, secures the kill. It's going to be 2 kills in the mid lane. Tiny and Earth Spirit drop. Earth Spirit you can afford to lose, but the Tiny, that is such a valuable kill. Now Wyvern, she's invised up, will get trapped into the cogs. They get the reveal with the Zeus. That's going to be some free vision onto the Wyvern, but I think they're going to have to go through a Zeus is fresh out of mana. They will lose the sight onto Boombell, so not going to be a kill there, but definitely a successful play from Warriors Gaming. They're getting themselves back in. Kill score is still in their deficit, but they're certainly showing some signs of life. This laning phase was rough, but it won't destroy them.
Yeah, the Lifestealer came out and just, you know, started bashing.
Oh, the shoes! What did Winter Wyvern get? Did she deny or did she pick up? She picked up Zeus's arcanes.
Oh no.
Oh, the shoes! The thief. Oh man. That is going to be detrimental for Zeus. That is what, like 1,300
worth, man.
1,300 worth.
That's half his gold, man.
Oh, Zeus, you poor sucker. That Wyvern with that Invis rune was shut down earlier. She goes in for the deny on the arcane boots. They are no longer of this world, so Boombell getting it done, and Zeus has got to just be swearing all over his TeamSpeak at this point.
That is not a happy Zeus right now. He's sitting without boots right now.
Good golly. Now there will be a roll through, will not connect onto the Naga. They do have the boulder kick coming through, but she's singing. She wants nothing to do with it. She's cutting out trees, going back through, has her Oracle. They're traveling in the buddy system, and it's working out so far. But man, how costly is the shoes loss of the Zeus? Like you said, it's half his net worth, and God, that sucks.
That's just one of those things that you cannot have happen, especially because so far they are a little bit behind. They got some signs of hope with Saki getting into the mid lane, getting them a double kill, but I mean, Zeus just pretty much threw away that double kill and put in, like, let's say, like 800 gold in the pot as well. Instead of losing those boots.
I'm drawing him a new boot. There you go. I'm sorry, buddy.
Oh god.
Yeah, and I mean, Zeus was being so cautious too. He went up, he wasn't dropping his items under the tower or in lane. He went up to this high ground ledge, but he didn't remember that Wyvern was invised up. There will be a roll down bottom as Afu may be the trade here. They're going in, they will be able to get the pick onto the Oracle, but Naga is still farming up. She's still okay, and now they do have the Zeus with the Lifestealer inside. Zeus is smoked up. He's coming back here with a vengeance. Wants to find something. The smoke will pop onto the Tiny to get the slow onto him for now, or at least the damage tick onto him. There's going to be a boulder kick coming through from the Earth Spirit, who will end up TPing out. They have no way to break it for now. There's going to be a TP out as well on the Darkseer, so Sig.Trust, they go in, they play aggressive, and they don't get punished for it in that particular instance.
Yeah, it was just full force retreat that right there, and it worked out. Maybe if he had the boots, I'm sure he would have actually been fast enough to get to that Earth Spirit.
Well, I mean, he's got the brown boots. Side note.
Yeah, but the 25 movement speed extra from having a King's hitting him again, just making him sad right now, probably.
How could this happen to me? Oh man, he's just having such a hard time. But let's talk about this Dusa, who's having the time of her life here, sitting at 1-0-1, allowed all the space in the world as Clockwork has barely pushed up to XP range, now just picking up his level 6, 2 experience over the threshold, and you know, when does this Dusa start to get to be a huge problem? Is she allowed to have 20 more minutes of free farm?
It's very hard to talk about, actually, because the only way they can try and contest her is by having the Zeus and the Lifesteal go out there, but now that the Zeus has to spend more time farming, it's going to take even more time. And at that point, I mean, you still have to worry about securing the farm for the Nagasarn. And Nagasarn is farming pretty well, 2k gold, so it's getting slowly but surely close to that Radiant. So I don't think they're going to be able to do too much against the Dusa. And as the Dusa is already so big right now, level 10, has max mana shield, has a good chunk of gold towards that Lincoln Sphere, so it's a very hard gang to sort out.
Alright, speaking of gangs here, we do have the smoke up. There is going to be Tiny going through. He has that Blink Dagger. Will go through. Toss Avalanche combo. Ripping Zaki apart. Zaki's raged up. Can they get the damage on him? He's so low. 40 HP, but he will have to back off. And they may try to turn this on the backlines. The Radiant, they're rotating through. Naga's here. She will immediately get Winter's Cursed up. Oracle slapping some damage onto that now on the backlines. We do have Tiny joining the fight once again. There's going to be a Magnetize coming out. Oracle is getting kind of low here. May end up going down. The Zeus drops the ulti. They are able to get down the Earth Spirit on the backlines. They're looking for the kill onto the Darkseer, who did drop the vacuum wall and was not able to get on any successful picks off of that. Afu is still alive, has those Purifying Flames to nuke out, isn't going to drop him just yet. And now Abba might be getting away. No, it's going to take the perch right there, and Wen has the cogs to trap him in on the backline. Zeus able to spray out the damage. They will be able to get the Darkseer as well. It's going to be, in the end, I want to say a 2 for 2? No, it was only a 2 for 1, and it will have very, very heavily favor the Radiant.
Well, it was the Nagas with Siren who had the 2k gold on him, so, you know, shutting down that Radiant's timing even further. I would say, yeah, a little bit favored for the Radiant, but not too much, all things considered, since Medusa's still free farming, still having a good time. And it looks like she is going to go for a casual Yasha before finishing the Lincoln Sphere, just to be able to boost the farm as much as possible.
Yeah, and that will eventually transition into a Manta later on, so...
I actually know a Dragonlance.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It disassembles, so it's that nice little stepping stone. It's a little bit not so cost efficient if she wants to disassemble it soon, and, you know, it takes up a slot that becomes very valuable on Dusa once you hit, you know, 20-25 minutes, so we'll see what she's able to do with it. But, you know, it's not the worst. There will now be a rotation into the mid lane, all the Radiant heroes grouping up. Maybe looking for some sort of smoke. They don't have the smoke. Oh, there it is, on the Clockwork. So we'll see what they want to go for that, but meanwhile, speaking of rotations... You've got the Dire going, looking for something greedy. You've got Tiny again with that Blink Dagger, and now he's got a double damage rune in his bottle as well. So this is a very ambitious jump if they want to go for it, but if they do want to go for it, they've got to go now. Oh, nice Zeus Lightning Bolt will reveal the Observer in the mid lane. So Dire lose a little bit of necessary vision to go for the jump. They're going to have to just blindly roll the Earth Spirit in. The scan will reveal them hiding in the trees, but it's not fast enough, as we are going to have Feast come in onto the Tiny. Oh, Tiny! He's getting roared apart. There is going to be the Dusa with the Stone Gaze. Now Zaki, targeted the engage, will end up just hopping into this creep. Comes out full health, full mana, and is going to be trying to run away. They might be able to get the kill on the Earth Spirit here. On the backlines, there will be the Winter's Curse. Nana getting chunked apart by Zaki. Zaki doesn't want to do this to his teammate, but doesn't have a choice, as Zaki will end up being one of the contributing factors to Zeus going down. The first casualty comes out as Tiny, does end up falling as well from the Oracle, and Zaki will go down now, so it's going to be Zeus and Lifestealer down so far, and it looks like Sig.Trust are very much in command of this fight. The rest of Warriors do end up backing off. Now the Rocket Flare comes out, but Dusa still feeling relatively healthy. Same with the Darkseer. He dropped his wall, didn't end up getting much out of it, but he survives.
Yeah, that was an amazing time to Sig.Trust to take a team fight right there. Warriors Gaming, I mean, honestly, they fought that fight pretty
Oh!
well because...
Afu takes a stun from the backlines. Now there's going to be a cogs, but a vacuum out of the cogs. They might be able to get down the Oracle goes through, trying to heal himself up, so the negative urn will be taken off. They're not able to get the Oracle just yet, but very commanding fight from Sig. They set Naga back very, very far in terms of her farm. She's sitting on, you know, not even relic gold yet, whereas this Medusa already has an item and a half.
Yeah, and Medusa also joining in on the fight that right there is a little bit difficult because now Medusa's gonna spike even further ahead. She's actually like nearing the double net worth of Nagasiren, so even though Nagasiren is getting close to that the relic, I would say it is very close to the time where it is too late because Medusa is such a huge problem. Medusa going for early game items as well, knowing that she is in the lead. So getting early game items, trying to fight with the team is definitely the way to do it.
Speaking of fighting with the team, we're going to have Tiny solo YOLO. We'll just get slapped down here. There's going to be a nice winter curse. They may be able to get Afu down, but no, the curse stops just a little bit prematurely. Afu is able to go through and heal himself up with those purifying flames. Now, Zeus, did you learn nothing there? Dropping your boots on the ground once again. Nana is not punished this time.
I mean, if it happens 2 times in one game, I'm sure that's some kind of record.
I'm sure that's like actually Nana disconnecting and walking around for a bit, because that's just too much.
I'm done, man. I'm done. No more.
Yeah, just give everyone shared unit control and go for a stroll. But either way,
become a League of Legends player or something like that.
Oh god, that's savage, son. Now there will be a nice rocket flare scouting out the rest of the Dire Heroes camping out. And Courier, it's got a smoke on it, so do the Dire Heroes want to go for some sort of rotation? Looks like they are going to bring back Tiny, who did end up going down. Pretty unfortunate for him, but he's back, he's fighting. He is going to be picking up the Staff of Wizardry, so most likely going to be that Aghanim Scepter coming up for him, getting some nice cleave, nice wave clear. And that's going to help Tiny carry a little bit into the later game. He'll be able to go for split push, he'll be able to take team fights a little bit better, and, you know, Warriors Gaming, they are giving themselves up, clumped up tightly in these team fights.
Yeah, Sig.Trust is going for a big fight right here. They have a lot of 4-stars once again.
Oh! Oracle just got dumpstered. I think that's the best term for what happened. Just slapped up, thrown in the air, not even living to see the ground. So now that's 23 seconds without your Oracle. Clean, easy gold in the pockets of the Dire, and there's going to be a toss on the Zeus back to the high ground as they want to just buy a little bit of space to go for this tower. Zeus, he does have his ultimate ready to go, but will end up burning out the mana for it. So no Thunder God's Wrath just yet. His arcane shoes still have 10 seconds left. Now in the backlines, Tiny blinks in, will get the kill on the Zeus. Very aggressive play from him. He uses up a big chunk of his mana pool, and well, there's going to be a cold embrace healing up the Tiny. He's going to get away with that for free. Now Zeus is down another 30 seconds. The Oracle has spawned back into the game, but it will be at the cost of this tower. They spend the Fortify for it. Sig.Trust are able to outlast the Fortify. Meanwhile, top lane, I mean, they're going for a trade on a tier 1, but it's not worth the tier 2. And Zaki will end up going down. He did hop into a safety creep, so I guess that's alright. As, no, I mean, it's Sig.Trust just really accelerating here in this mid portion of the game. The Medusa is come online much more than the Nagasiren. Nagasiren needs a lot more safe farm before she's going to have an impact, but Lifestealer just gets basically shut down. Very different game from last time.
Yeah, this time the Sig.Trust is just taking the lead right now. They're just pulling ahead, they're using the advantage, trying to get ganks everywhere, not letting anything go through from Warriors Gaming Unity. And the thing is, yeah, they're just still waiting for that Radiance on Nagasiren. But the thing is, well, once you have a Nagasiren Radiance, Sig.Trust still has ways to deal with the illusions in the start with the Splinter Blast from the Winter Wyvern, with the pure AoE from Medusa, because Medusa is like insanely big right now. Having a Hurricane Pike up now with which was the Dragonlance plus 4 stuff getting into a Hurricane Pike. So movement, and it is a pretty big item regardless. So I would say it's pretty nice on Medusa.
Yeah, I have actually seen it once before on a Medusa, but that Medusa was super far behind, so I assumed it was a comeback item, but I guess if Medusa wants to go in ahead and grab it up, must be good. Now this other tower will end up falling, and if this goes down, when it goes down, that means Sig.Trust has complete control of the Radiant Jungle, and that's going to be the beginning of the end for Warriors Gaming, because you need the Naga to be in the jungle, you need the Lifestealer to be in jungle, heck, you even need the Zeus to be able to get some reliable farm, and he's going to be all aggro here up in the top lane, but Sig.Trust now have so much space to work with to get their farm up, and Dusa will continue to scale very well. She's almost doubling up the Naga's farm now in terms of net worth, and, well, the top 3 slots on the net worth chart all belong to the Dire. So Sig.Trust, they've established a firm lead now. I don't think Warriors tap out just yet, but it's a very uphill battle. Now Zaki is revealed by this scan. He's going to be going in, raging up, TPing out. They're not able to catch him out. They don't want to pop the Stone Gaze, so I mean, he gets out with a warning this time, but you see where Lifestealer is just completely confined. He cannot find safe farm.
Yeah, it's difficult. They just have to play so scared. They have to just keep split pushing, keep trying to buy time for the Naga Siren to get small farm. She is getting very, very close to that Radiance, but you need, even when you get the Radiance, you need at least like 5 to 8 minutes before you start getting like your next big item, which can turn into more split push, which can turn into buying more time for the Naga Siren, and it's just, working in the same direction. Where Sig.Trust, they're just looking for farm, they're looking for fights.
We've got a little bit of a scream off here, as the Avalanche did proc onto Naga, but she was already in the animation for casting her song, so she will be A-okay. Now the rest of the Radiant, focusing their attention on the mid tower. The Dire, not going to let them get away with that here. You do have the Dusa who has a hold on to that Stone Gaze. She's level 14, only having that 1 value point in the Stone Gaze. Not going to go up to level 2. What do you think about that?
Keeping it level 1 is fine. You don't really need to level it up, because the only thing it does is level up the duration. And all you want it to do is really just stopping the Lifestealer from going too ham into the rage. So you just want a couple of seconds where it's stunned up, where you force him to not do anything, and it lasts for 5 seconds right now, whereas the rage lasts for 6. So you don't really have any value time with rage once you pop that ultimate. Leveling it up, getting 1 more second doesn't really do anything, honestly. It doesn't change much.
Alright, the stun will not connect on Nana, trying to TP out, but they might just have the raw damage. In fact, they're going to drop the Winter's Curse on the Zeus in order just to lock him in place, and they will be successful in doing so. He goes in, he's only able to pop the Lincolns of the Dusa in frustration as he loses his life, and that's going to be Zeus's 4th death of the game. We saw a Dusa Naga picked up in the draft thinking, oh, this could be like 2 hours, but it's starting to feel like Sig have a very firm grasp on this. Now, how much comeback potential is there on Warriors? You talked about Naga getting a Radiance, but what else is there that will switch the momentum?
It feels like there's not much, honestly. I mean, we still haven't seen the hookshot in with the lifesteal happening, which could be one thing. But as long as Sig.Trust is 5-manning, that is very unreliable that you're going to get any big kills from that.
Alright, so Dire, they're owning up this vision game. They've got the sentries, they've got the observers, and they're going to be putting a lot of sentries in the jungle as well, making sure Radiant don't have vision of their own. They will be able to scout out Zaki here with this obs here on the top ramp, and, well, they know the Lifestealer's not there, so they know that the hookshot combo's not there as well. So when not going to be as spooky here, the clockwork, he's landed very few hook shots. He's gotten a couple nice cogs off, but what does he really offer into the fight? He's a vessel for the Lifestealer, and they're not sticking together just yet.
Yeah, it feels like there's just a lot of things going wrong from Warriors Gaming, and they just can't really pick up the small scraps that they have to work with together.
Oracle just wanted to farm once again, just completely ripped to shreds, drawn and quartered by this Tiny combo. So much damage, and in the end, Tiny is going to be doing very well for himself. We talked about the greed of Sig.Trust lineup, or rather Sig.Trust lineup, but Tiny has managed to find himself a decent chunk of farm. Again, still going towards the Ag's Scepter. Did stop to pick up a Force Staff in the middle, and his kill score is 5, 3, and 3. So he's doing alright. A couple early deaths set him back, but certainly not down and out. If we look at the overall XP, it's going to be out 7,500 in favor of Sig.Trust. Overall gold, almost 10,000. Is that insurmountable?
That is a lot. I mean, considering both teams have a late game lineup, it's a lot that one team is so far ahead at this point, because it is just 24 minutes into the game. So on paper, this is where the Medusa and the Naga Siren will start getting online slightly in terms of pushing, but the Medusa has been online for 10 minutes now. Has Lincolns, has Hurricane Pike, can go for the next big item. They're gonna get Roche, which should be uncontested considering the Naga Siren. Yeah, you have the Radiance up now, but you can't really survive to go in for a fight right now. So I think they're just gonna try and dodge this, let it go, and see if they can just buy more time with the Naga, buy more split push and whatnot.
What do you think of the option to give the Aegis to the Dusa rather than the Tiny?
That's a good question. The Medusa's better for sieging. So much like we saw in the last game where it wasn't given to the puck because the Lightstealer can just pop rage, go up on the high ground and hit.
They're gonna go for another rocket flare. They're looking for the Dusa here. They do have that infest bomb going through. There's the hook shot. There's the lifesteal like we talked about. Force staff out. Great control here coming out. Medusa drops the ult. Will end up catching Zaki as the Winter's Curse comes through. And now Zaki taking a serious amount of damage on the backlands. We have a separate fight going down as Earth Spirit, left to his own devices, gets knocked up into the air. There's gonna be kills splashing all over the map. Tiny ends up going down. The Magnetize doing its work. And now, okay, I cannot put the camera on the right target here. It's going to be a 2 for 3 overall. Lifestealer drops. Naga stays alive, which is pretty crucial. When may end up getting chased down here. Naga's got this face boost, but doesn't want to commit too deeply. Naga, again, going back to farming. She's got the Radiance. She doesn't go down, and that's huge. Whereas the Dusa, she stays up, but they lose the Tiny, which is a pretty big pick. Dusa wants to go right back into the pit, has her eyes on the prize. If we look at the overall XP swing, gonna be holding about steady. It went not the best in terms of Sig, but they got some big targets.
And they got some pretty nice kills. They did come in a lot of big ultimates though, but it was a pretty good jump from the Clockwork, all things considered. You got 3 people stunned with that hook shot. So even though Oracle died straight up in the start once again by Tiny just, doing that execution thing that he's been doing a couple of times now.
Okay, here, so we got Tiny now respawning in, has most of his Ag Scepter, needs about 700 more gold to finish that off. This Roshan is still under contest. We've got the Radiant looking for more here. When it does have that hook shot ready to go, Lifestealer has respawned and has the Infest. So we'll see if they're going to go for another siege like that. I mean, Medusa desperately doesn't want to give up this Roche, but she may be forced to do so. I mean, she's trying her damnedest here. Is going to go back into the pit. Another Rocket Flare reveals they've got the Naga standing at the ready. And Naga will get initiated upon odds. She cannot go down here. There's going to be a Lifestealer coming back in. There's the hookshot and Fest Bomb we talked about earlier. Oh, there's the Cogs trapping in Abba. Oh man, it's doing so much damage. The Vacuum out will be enough here as Darkseer immediately buys back into the game. Zaki loses his life. He has buyback as well if he wants it, but looks like he will just sit and do his time for in the well for now, as Afu is going to be going in, trying to heal himself up, gets stunned up, does not have the ultimate to commit, so Oracle goes down as well. There is going to be a buyback from the Lifestealer. Now Zeus getting low as well, takes that negative burn. There's going to be a song from the Naga trying to go through and help her team. Wen is sitting here, again, does have those cogs, will end up trapping in as Tiny, he's low, but will be able to pick up the Zeus before he goes down. Zeus does not have buyback. Vacuum back in, nice wall, connects onto Wen, and they're going for more here. Zaki ends up getting the feast here onto Abba, and now it's going to go through. They want to get the Earth Spirit, but Earth Spirit going to get healed up by the Wyvern. Now Abba going back through once again for the body blocks onto Zaki. The Mystic Snake is not going to come out just yet. It's on cooldown. Now there's going to be a brief stun, or rather tether, onto Abba, who's going to be able to run back away. So in the nonsense of all the buybacks here, it's going to be slightly in favor of Sig.Trust, as they had to commit a little bit less to the fight. They lose their Tiny once again. That's a second death in just a couple of moments, but they force a lot of buybacks out of Warriors, and that's very costly. At 28 minutes in the game, forcing buybacks out of cores and mids is huge, and now they are going to be finally able to secure the Roche, hopefully.
Well, as you say that, looks like Warriors still not ready to give it up.
I mean, they're going to go back in here again. Zaki is looking for more. They don't have the song from the Naga, but the Radiance Burn might be enough. They are going to immediately get down the Winter Wyvern, and now Dusa actually trapped in a very hard place. Nice boulders coming through. Earth Spirit putting in the work, goes in with that ulti. Now there is going to be a toss-up. Tiny getting some serious damage done, and now, okay, he's going in. They're going to get the Vacuum here. Okay, plop there onto the Naga Siren. So she's dead. She does have buyback. Zaki, he's going to get slapped down by his own teammate. Unfortunately, this may be it, as it is going to be almost a complete wipe. They're looking for everything here, as they will get a full 5-man wipe. 28 minutes into the game, Sig are going to finally take this hard-earned Roshan. Toss up from the Dusa, gets down the big stone boy, and Dusa finally secures that Aegis after what seems like 6 or 7 minutes of fighting.
Yeah, I mean, at some point you gotta let someone have the Roche, right? I mean, you can't just keep fighting and not getting anything. Then it's just one more time Sig.Trust showing off that fancy net worth on the Medusa, getting a lot of work done. I would say Warriors Gaming had one pretty big team fight that they could have done a little bit better and actually messed up when the Naga Siren used to sleep. the Clockwork was trying to move in position to get some power cogs going so he could push back the Tiny and the other two people, but they canceled the Nagasan ultimate instantly, which I feel like was maybe a little bit of lack in communication, because that meant that the Tiny could jump the Zeus, get the him kill straight off, and then you saw how the fight went. Not amazingly in Sig.Trust's favor, but slightly. And
I'm gonna disagree. Overall in the fight, they got about a 2k gold swing going their way. If you look at the overall XP charts and the overall gold charts, you see a pretty steep drop-off. And Sig.Trust, yeah, they lost a lot of costly things, and the net worth is now not so much combined onto the Dusa, but they did get a lot overall.
Yeah, for sure.
Alright, now Tiny, he's looking here. He does end up scouting out Nana, goes in. Avalanche connects onto Odd Sheet, but now a little bit of indecision from Tiny ends up costing him both kills. The rest of the Dire will rotate through. They do have the Stone Gaze and the Dusa. Again, at level 18, only the one value point in it, so she's opted to go for stats over her ulti. What do you think about that?
It's pretty much the same as before. Like it's fine. You don't really need it to. You just need it for harassment. You just need to force them to either turn around or get a little small stun. The duration on it doesn't really change too much in that aspect, since it is only a few seconds you need it to be up. So whether it's 6 seconds, 5 seconds, 8 seconds, whatever, it doesn't change much in terms of the usefulness of it.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Alright, so Tiny's sitting here. They've got that Veil when they need it to further amplify Tiny's damage. And, I mean, Dusa, she's just sieging from the low ground courtesy of that Hurricane Pike. The range is fantastic. Looks like she will have to squiggle away. Gets force-staffed out by her buddies. And she's going to be cold embraced up. So Zeus just seems like he can't even hit her. There is a pipe on the Earth Spirit if they need that extra bit of magic resist against the Zeus.
And he's setting up to go deep, man. He's sitting ready, wants to go in on someone very deep. He wants to go on the Zeus for sure.
I mean, he's going to be throwing out that little stone boy. Is going to be rolling back down to the low ground now. Looks like Dusa may be in some trouble again. She does still have the Aegis, so she may end up forcing the burn on that Aegis, and I don't know if Warriors have the tools to lock her down for 2 kills in a row, especially with a Tiny who's going to be very angry about that, with a Winter Wyvern sitting on her ultimate ready to go, and with an Earth Spirit who has that pipe, has that Veil. They're going to pop the pipe, so they're looking for the siege now. They're going to be very magic resistant. Zeus is not going to be able to do a whole lot. They're going in, they're sieging Dusa on the tower, and well, it looks like the Fortify will be forced out. Now the backdoor protection will expire. Dusa is going to go in. She will end up getting the tower. It costs her a good portion of her life. Her health and mana now virtually drained, but they're sieging out the racks, and that's what counts here. Naga Illusions will be going through. The Radiant's burst damage may end up forcing out the Aegis, but for now there's going to be a cold embrace onto the Dusa. Wyvern doing her best to keep everyone alive, and well, everyone on Sig.Trust is still up and fighting. And Warriors, they've got to be getting really, really nervous here, expecting that one final jump, that one big massacre coming out as soon as they can possibly muster it.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, this is actually like last game over again, just where Sig.Trust doing the pushing, where you have this one person with the Aegis just going in for the pushes, and it's so hard to go in on it.
Oh, Vacuum on. Now the roll through will catch on to Nana. Nana going to be healed up for a decent amount by the Oracle. Now there is going to be, oh, Zeus ulti shredding everyone down. That's going to be a big kill here. They forced the Aegis on the Naga. Now they are going to be losing the Earth Spirit as well, most likely. He tries to roll away, will not be successful. They already lose the Darkseer. They may lose more here, as there will be a Medusa way deep. Pops that Stone Gaze. She's going here onto Zaki. Zaki has no tools to get away, and it will end up hopping, and will end up going down. So that's going to be a feast onto the Wyvern. She wants to do what she can here. Cold embraces up the Tiny, keeps him fighting fit. Dusa did respawn from that Aegis. She's still half health, half mana. Zeus, he's back. He's almost drained of mana, but he will fight till his last breath. It's only the Lifestealer and the Clockwork going down. They get a decent trade out of that, and it looks like Sig are forced back for now. So far, Warriors have kept their racks up. It's costly, but they got the job done.
Yeah, they survive for now. The Axis, the Aegis, sorry, is down, so it's a hold. You can call it that. I'm still wondering though, because I mean, actually, the Nagasaki is catching up pretty nicely, all things considered. Since you have been forced to be in the base, the woods have not really been available for at least like 10 minutes. So being, I would say, close to the Medusa, it is still 4,000 gold separating them, yeah, but I mean, it was a lot before, so I would call this being close.
Yeah, the problem is the Naga's really the only one in their team that has that carry potential, whereas Sig, they've got the Dusa, then they've got the backup of the Tiny, who's really enjoying being in that semi-carry slash, big guy core roll. He's got the Ags, he's got the Blink Force, and he's got 3,400 gold to work with, so could be picking himself up a Butterfly, could be going for Boots of Travels, whereas, you know, you've got the Naga, then the next up, I guess, is the Zeus, who... He's got a Veil and brown boots. He still has not recovered from losing his mana shoes early on.
That is very true. I mean, there's also options like the Assault Crash on the Tiny, which would, I mean, yeah, I mean, it is mainly magic damage coming out from VG Unity, but just for the siege potential to be able to deal with the lifesteal a little bit easier. And as you said, I mean, he is very big. He can easily just turn into another carry. As things are going right now, he needs one attack speed item, and then he can just go for damage, go for the right clicks, go for the heavy damage that he has. And they have a lot of AoE when you look through the Sig.Trust lineup, so dealing with Naga illusions is not too difficult for them.
So Sig opt to go for the pipe here, so it seems like there's a little bit of hesitation. They want to go in, they can't quite find the jump point. There will be a Lincoln's put onto the Tiny. It is end up popping from the Oracle. Now Hookshot will be off the mark, as Wen is not able to find that Infest Bomb going through, and now it looks like Nana could be in some trouble, will get stunned up just briefly. Oracle doing everything he can to keep the Zeus alive on the backlines. There will be a feast onto the Wyvern, who is able to fly up to the high ground. Now Medusa going in with that Stone Gaze, arrows spraying every which way. This is going to be a monster kill streak. Godlike comes out for the Dusa. Now the first racks will end up falling. Tiny goes through with the Avalanche. It won't connect onto the Zeus. Zeus is still up and fighting. He's desperately going in for something. Doesn't want to give up too much. Now there's going to be a vacuum wall. Connects onto 2. There's going to be a Winter's Curse as well, as Wen has to whack away onto his teammate. They're going to be going through. I believe this is going to be GG as they're going to go through. Naga, she's singing. She's escaping with her life. There's double buybacks on the Zeus and the Clock. Clock is going to be looking for that hook shot. Still has a 10-second cooldown. So it looks like Sig, they're not going to lose anything just yet. Maybe they try and go for the Tiny, but the toss in! Oh, they're just throwing the Dusa in deep here. She's got no regard for her own life as she goes back through. She's getting down to half health. She has all her mana burned up, so the mana shield won't do a whole lot. So she has to be a little bit safe here. She's going to buy a recipe for a Manta and should have it very, very shortly as she flies the courier out to Secret Shop. So Sig, they lose nothing there. And Warriors, they have 2 buybacks forced, the Zeus and the Clock, and they end up losing the Oracle and the Lifestealer. The Naga, the only one that lives through the engage, but she's just looking terrified. She opts to just ignore the fight, go in for some counter push, but it's not working out.
It is not doing a lot right now, as she said. I would like to comment on one thing, because Sig.Trust actually outdid themselves compared to the first game. They have a billion 4-stars. Like, they have 4-stars on every single hero except for the Earth Spirit, I believe. It's pretty funny to see how these teams both just seem to love this item. Just doing the train 4-star all over, all the time, all over and over and over and over again.
Alright, so Tiny has picked up that BKB on top of his much-loved Force Staff, and that's going to be a shiny new 10-second BKB. That is going to be basically him not caring about anything that Warriors Gaming are throwing out. I mean, yeah, they've got a little bit of damage. The Lifestealer can still right-click. I guess the hook shot can pierce the spell immunity, but Tiny's not going to give a crap about anything Zeus pitches at him, and doesn't really care much about the Naga either.
Yeah, he's going to use it for the pushes that they've been doing so lately, because as you saw, the only problem they have right now is dealing with the Zeus. So even if they just pop that 10-second BKB just to hit for 10 seconds on a tower, that is going to be a good amount of time to just maybe take half a tower, and then you can like wait for it again and do it again.
Reveal will come through. The vacuum from the Darkseer does not connect at anyone. They give away the Darkseer for free. He has buyback if he needs it. Everyone else snowballing around Naga is able to get a kill, and that's going to be pretty important on the backlines. Darkseer does buy back. They're going through. They want to find something onto Wen, but Earth Spirit, he's just not that big. They go for the Avalanche. They're not able to connect onto anything. Now Zaki could be in some trouble, but Tiny actually going to be the one falling here. He gets very, very low. The Zeus ulti will whap him down. They get the Clockwork in exchange. Now it looks like Zaki going to be armlet toggling his way out of this one, so I mean, Sig.Trust, they're not immortal just yet. They definitely got a wake-up call losing their Tiny for 70 seconds.
Yeah, that's a 2k gold swing as well towards Warriors Gaming. So all these small engagements, I mean, yeah, they're going evenly in terms of killing, but considering how far behind Warriors Gaming is right now, that is the best kind of trade they can possibly imagine.
And Lifestealer now has this Desolator, so he's going to be a little bit more ferocious in terms of going up against towers and also going up against the big, heavily armored targets of the Dusa and the Tiny. Dusa has 21 base armor, as you did put so many points into the stats over her ulti.
Yeah, she's a tanky lady right now. Has a lot of stats, has a lot of mana to just, give extra HP. And with an Aegis now, I don't know if she's even gonna be bothering to pick it up right now. I guess she could and just go for like the siege where she doesn't care about her life, just kamikaze onto a tower, get some racks. Looks like that is gonna be the case.
Yep, she drops the Ring of Aquila, so doesn't exactly need those stats. Now the Rocket Flare is just going to be a little bit too late. Mid lane, we have Darkseer kind of solo defending here. Maybe gets jumped by the Zeus, but there's only so much the Zeus can put out. As soon as he reveals himself with that veil, he's going to be in some trouble. Vacuum back in, immediately popping down. Do they commit the Winter's Curse for this? Oh, looks like they might not need to just yet. There is going to be the Cold Embrace, keeping everyone healthy for now. The Avalanche will connect onto the Zeus, toss up, death on the floor. As Zeus is now dead for 80 seconds, no buyback. Going to be a much needed window for Sig to go in, get some push. They could go for another lane of racks down mid, and that will be the call.
Yeah, I mean, they have to push out the waves a little bit, but it's not going to take them too long. They have so much AoE wave clear, so the Zeus not getting caught out there, especially if you don't have buyback. That is a pretty ballsy play. And going on a Darkseer who has Guardian Grease, who have 4 stars, that is very, very difficult to pull off that kind of kill.
So now 40 minutes in the game. If we look at overall net worth, it is going to be about 20,000 in favor of Sig.Trust, but Naga, she's kind of hit her stride here. She's got that Radiance, she's got that Manta and the Illusions and the Octarine. She's managed to pick up some farm here, and she's sending out the Illusions to go in for some nice split push, cutting the waves. Is this the beginning of the turnaround, or is it just a slow, steady decline for Warriors?
I mean, she's doing a very good job at just keeping the waves pushed back, keeping Signature back, but as you can see, it is too little too late, because it came online too late. It's doing okay, but it's just not enough right now.
So a second tier 3 will end up falling. Tiny again, still sitting on that BKB charge. It's ready to go if he wants it. There will be a hook shot in, but it's just when. No buddies inside of him. There will be a nice purge onto the Tiny. He is going to go through with that Linken's, keeping himself healthy for now. And Medusa, she's just completely focusing on these targets, going in. Oh, eyes on the prize, objective gaming for her. She's still got that Aegis, so if she goes down once, it's not a huge problem. Now burned out of mana completely. She doesn't have enough for the Stone Case, but again, if the Aegis is committed, she will come back with a full mana pool. So she's going to back off for now. On the back lines, there will be a feast onto the Tiny. Nothing really to go in. There is going to be that purge from downtown, shooting up onto the high ground. The wall comes out, not going to find anything off of that. And, well, for now, just a clean disengage from Sig. They lose very little off of that. They're keeping Tiny safe with those Linken Spheres spammed out from the Dusa. And that's just going to be more and more gold going in favor of Sig.Trust as they get themselves a second lane of racks, completely cost-free.
Yeah, they still have at least like 2 minutes to go with the Aegis, so they can just go back, heal up, and go straight down mid once again. And with Warriors Gaming, I mean, all the lanes are pushed in, so they don't really have any way of pushing it back to force Sig.Trust to try and defend the other side lanes. So it's a pretty big window for Sig.Trust right now, and they know that there's not a lot of buybacks available on the side of Warriors. So if they get one kill, that is giving them plenty of opportunities to do something.
Down bottom, we are going to have Zeus very far out on his own with no vision whatsoever. He's running into the trees here. He's got nothing to get away. He has a TP, but that just seemed like a little bit of tilt. You know, he was all the way out in this lane. He knew the Dire saw him. There's no radiant vision anywhere except for this high ground, or low ground rather, right here. I don't know what he was looking to accomplish there.
Maybe the Arcane Boots is finally hitting him mentally.
He's still sitting there like, I will join you in death, Arcanes. But either way, we're going to have all the lanes pushed out in favor of Sig.Trust. Now the Naga Illusions can only do so much at stalling this push, and it's going to be super creeps top lane, so these will eventually plow down, get right back up to the tier 3s. Now Wen goes in, brings Zaki in. There's going to be the Cold Embrace onto the Wyvern, a self-help there as Medusa casts that Stone Gaze, will freeze up Zaki momentarily. Zaki will end up going down. That's going to be a Lifestealer dead for 65 seconds. He does have buyback, will spend it up. Zeus still dead for 20. No buyback on him. Now Afu will end up going through, trying to spam out those those Purifying Flames, keeping the creeps dead, and, well, might not be in time to keep up this tower. The Cogs burning down Deuce's mana. She is going to be very, very low here, still sitting on the Aegis when will end up taking a Winter Wyvern to the head, and now there's going to be one more hit, securing the kill. Clockwork buys back right away. Now Zaki goes in, trying to get the Wyvern, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Even if Wyvern goes down, I'm not quite sure what the game plan is here, as Deuce now going to be protected by that Oracle. Now on the back lines, Wyvern is able to get down the Zeus, which is never good. Zeus still has no buyback, so that's going to be a huge chunk of damage missing from Unity. Now there is going to be the Aegis burned on the Dusa. Can they keep her locked down? That's the question. Looks like immediately Naga goes in for the illusions. They're going to pop some Riptides there, but looks like they're just going to clean up Clockwork. It's only going to be the Naga really left to defend, as Lifestealer seems powerless. Oracle as well, spamming it out, but the GG is called 45 minutes into the game in favor of Sig.Trust. They take this in a 2-0 sweep. This is going to be Sig.Trust moving on to the finals of the WCA 2016. No, it's not. It's not.
Game 3 is what you
Game 3 is totally what I meant. I had my little ticks wrong in my notebook there, so ignore everything I said. I'm tired and stupid. We're going to go to a Game 3 here in this series to determine who goes to the finals, as, well, Sig.Trust, they're showing that they're still very much alive, very much in this. Warriors Gaming took Game 1. Can they take Game 3 as well? So I hope you enjoyed the coverage so far. I've been your caster, Annie, aka Android, and I'm being joined by Mad Kings. Our Twitter handles are up there in the top corner if you want to drop us a follow. We always tweet before we go live, so follow us for all our new gigs here. And again, the game number 3 of the WCA 2016 semifinals will come up in just a couple of moments.